plastic ha molaong kapa ha nepahala but ha ba kgone hore ba ye mo a etsuwang teng hona mona difemeng botshabelo ba lo stopper from the production part, which is what we try to engage them on. Okay, stopping this thing from the onset. So it's ka kgona ho fika mona mo ileng dangerous for our people. And also DESTEA will come and support maybe Bomaspal and all that through the raids. Ba tla kwala di shop, but along the way the very same shops zitlo bulwa happy. And to our surprise, officially diffuse something because we don't know. But it's surprising, how do they allow this to continue in this way? And also this year is failing our small businesses. I will believe it's deliberate because you cannot be asked to hold a stock or shop right. A few the tin fish and few other things. Or to stock of the government. That is a setup for failure. That is not a wholesale. That's not the way people should be buying stock for the shop. That money is a waste. Is just a waste. But DESTEA did not listen. Balaba introduce molao ka morao re mathe re lwane na go etelele hore ha le kgone ho kenya molao tshebetsong o dumellang ba ai ba eseng ba South Africa hore ba se ba gana di business tsa mofuta o itseng. E betsa ba ai ba mona fela because re bona di risky fela tse etsalang mola ba le molao ba ba o kenya tshebetsong Free State Economic Development Bill ba e pasa ba re ke act, but till today ha ona next implementation. But ba se nang di document tsa o trade dintho tse ding ba ntse ba tswela pele ba ntse ba trade. And DESTEA is not protecting our small businesses. Aba re thusi ka next. Aba buleti di funding, their system was not working. And it was on record even on the CDFM or ba try or ba check le ba fumana ho ga isebetse. Now the funding period in a short, in a nyanyana. For batho ba bo rona ba bantse batho ba baholo a ba tsebetse dintsa dintho, so ba lokela ko re pele ba tlo apply ho bele batho ba thusang. So ha fuwa matsatsi a 10 or so when application ya online and all that over and above system ya bona be sa sebetse be a fitla ba kwalla batho ba rona ka ntle for that opportunity. So the funding tsa bona normally a ditswa, it's a problem. Ha re bone mo di yanti ka mantso manga di kgonwe tse impact e re hlokang. Ba duplicate batho from there ba fa batho be already ba sentse ba na le mogwa wa hore ba ka kgona ho iphedisa be ba tlwella batho bana ba struggleang. Re tryile ho bua le bona le ka mekgatlo e teng ya setjhaba. Remember mona re emetse le other organizations that are not here because of the number that was limited for attendance. So those organizations, they will go to DESTEA, ask for assistance, but they will never get it. The chambers, the business organizations and associations, but they don't get that assistance. So that is worrying now support if the very same department that is responsible to assist DESTEA is part maybe this 500 million distribution fund. Batho ba rona ba strike nako e telele go ba fumane tšhelete ebile ba ska ba ifumana boholo ba bona. So far nna ke tseba only 26 people ba fumaneng only shelter stock. Shelter ya di fridge, you cannot run a business ya shop o bo sena fridge o be ya kae mabese stock tseo batho ba di hlokang every day. So ha ba tshwanetse rekela batho di fridge ha e sa le ntse o bulla batho nako e telele se bile fitile selemo e sa le batho ba tlo thuso a re bonti thuso tseo di fitla mo bathong. So tšhelete nyeo ya stock yo be ba fara straight batho bana ba di small business. DESTEA is not facilitating this process fairly. Banka tšhelete ya stock ba ifa is Plaza be ba rekele batho stock but ba sokola o rira koloi from Lady Brenda o fitla Bloemfontein Jumbo because the only shop ene le allow to batho ba ka reka o yona o ririle koloi bo tloa ka stock sa 5,000 to bo khutlisa o thotla pa o sa o lo e gape ape o khutla pe ka tšhelete. So DESTEA is not facilitating that part well. Other things that DESTEA will skip them for now. Vaal Central Water, I will try to be short, Chairperson. Vaal Central Water na le problem ya di tsela yeo ba etsang procurement ka yona. They overlook the companies that are not local. We went to them, we had a meeting with them, but they continue to do that. It's not like the companies in the grade 4, grade 5, but they prefer outside companies over the famous. And but get into the business. There's a system ever complaining about your treasury, and a meeting in the board. To the supply chain, but I database about the companies in the level it's a handle with the guys but we are about the disadvantage unnecessarily so. And also not interested as I would wait a nepotism more Vaal Central Water. Vaal Central Water last year, I don't understand. Okalo hira driver from Eastern Cape, the whole province of Free State, they are a driver's license. And we're talking about a number of people balatuang in that fashion. From there, and this information, I will say it because I got it from internal. There are internships that took place there. Ba place about closer Hobon management. By really no recent about 3 weeks ago. About for example, by 9 by interview of Taiwan. And the rest of the other people, they are from other provinces. So the infrastructure project and this are benefit Mona Free State. Let's say I am and I'm saying this because some of the managers, babi the relative itabona, baba kinte mesebeti mo. Ona longwana la tuem Virginia, Mona Free State. Ofika afua position ya administration, nonto na la batu internally, marifita ifua yena afita lufita. So abata ma isi dinto hantle ba gensa ho irwe batho ka tsena le pona letso ena le tekatekano ha o te mosebetsi ki internal hona le motho ya tseba mosebetsi o ite why not ba sa fe motho preference ba choose go ba late motho kong a tlo kena in the internal post. So that is not, we see that not is not benefiting our people. It's not right. It's not a good practice. Ya di la se taking tsena ka tla di bona o ba ne se re ile ga bua le bona ka tsona ya di la se ba tlang committee re thuso yona important ke a hore before baba Vaal Central Water ntse le Blue Water ba sebeditse le masepala le batho wa nka go masepala ba etsa ntwe re ka ibitsang hore ke botsotsi o etsa jwalo ba tempera meter wa metsi as if masepala o kolota di milione tse kana tsa metsi only to find hore ne le taba ya o iketsa scheme sa o ja tšhelete ya rona. There was investigation e ga e kopa ye tsuwe mo masepala wa Mangaung. Ola to report wa teng but re hana o fuwa report eo so that o kgona ho ba le closure re be sure for dintho di entswe hantle kapa ke rona wrong kapa hona le something wrong that took place there. But that sure we reported the matter to the municipality and even the administrators by then I just forget the name. They were there from the national government. Ba ne ba tlo thusa masepala. Al masepala na be one administration. We reported that scheme se o se entsweng sa o ja ditšhelete tsa rona tsa masepala ka tsela e fosahetseng. So Vaal Central Water le masepala till today a ska re fumana that report. So ne ke batla ke hlahise santsang ke bua ka Vaal Central Water. We really want to know what happened there. Is those people ba ileng ba tempera na limiter ga ba metsi be ba etse ka re masepala o patetse tšhelete itse. The report that will tell us what happened. We need it. We really want to know what happened. So moving to Department of Public Works, we've got infrastructure at the buildings. Ta government mona kare ho Free State. Tse ding di mane tabanchu man di o chupa uwe ki di foreign nationals. But re la ga kopa.
Before you proceed, the issue of the public works, is it contained in the petition? If it's not, please don't delve into that. We only talk to issues that are contained in the petition.
If I may ask Chairperson, on our first letter, they were indicated to batlabe baleting because some of the issues concerned will not be sure na kita public works, kita masepala, kita mang. So I think from our side, Rinkile of Chairperson, so I'm trying to check if Chairperson can allow us to public works raise the concern.
The problem that I'm going to have allowing that is an ambush. we raise issues that are not contained in the document, and we expect people to respond to that. And people have taken an oath that they are going to talk the truth. So I'm not going to allow an ambush of any form. We only respond, or the departments will only respond to issues that were on a letter sent to them. Otherwise, the process won't be fair. Thank you.
Noted, Chairperson. On the letter, there's issue of Old Ramkral project. I'm not sure if you are public works, but you're not if you are buildings and the into student accommodations.
Yes, that one you can address. Proceed.
All right. I am not sure, Chairperson, because Old Ramkral place, because no, ke place a dangerous for batho money. It would see fair mono. Repeated route la route. Hona le chelete tse ntshueng di public works so develop at that place. Maybe for legislature or for provincial government, I'm not sure, but we asked those questions because hona ga batla o tseba. So it is here Leona he Chairperson ne kopa Leona he re tle re fumane thuso yona ona o etsa etseng ka chelete if no ntshwe chelete for that. And I will try and stick to issues te mona, even though hona le tse ding Chairperson tse siyo mona, but ne di le bohlokwa mara tla try to stick out it. Okay, that was for public works, then Chairperson. And then let me move to the roads and transport, Chairperson. My apology, Chair, because now I'm trying to check on the petition issues because on my book, it will cost me another problem. My apology for that. The roads and transport, Chairperson, the issues that we have, the kenyeleta botata ba ditsela. Re rutlo ba dua di chelete bo MEC ba ema ka pela rona ba tla di TV ba hlalosa hore di chelete di tlo ntshuwa o tlo lokiswa ditsela tse itseng, but only to find hore tse ding tsa ditsela tseo a dina seo re neng re lebeletse o se bona o tsona, and tse ding tsa tsona di qetella di sa qetuwa hantle, Chairperson, but ka nako eo chelete ya rona ya setjhaba yona e tswile lo etsa mosebetsi o. And ha re ya go bona di officing be ba hloleya go ba ka ba le nako ya go ba ga hlalosetse re iphumana ga le frustrated. That is why today go bonang re le mona, because re tswa go bona re try ya bua le bona ha ba re nkele hlogong. And also Chairperson, on the issues of roads and transport, mona le issue ya CSF, Community Safety Forum. Yeo police secretariat ba neng ba itlisa ka ro masepala wa Mangaung bakeng sa ho tlo thusa ka ho lwantsha crime e teng ka ro masepala wa rona. And Department of Roads and Transport ka beltabeng tsa sepolesa. Now re na le bothata ba hore na ho la wa etsala re na le about 4 years ke sure ho buwe ka yona ntho 3 years, I'm not sure ka date yantle. And if ba ntshitse tjhelete ba ifile masepala ile o sa etsa mosebetsi o no tlo go tswela molemo jalo ka setjhaba o tlo beteng re batla ba ga hlalosetse na ba ntse tjhelete e kae ba ntse le motse kae ha ba ne ba sa ntsha tjhelete o etsa tsengwe re ba qetela ba ntsheditse ntho tse tswelang setjhaba molemo pele hobane re ba le wa riti ya hore tse ding tsa dintho ha di benefita batho ha di etsuwe live ka ba tsa endosiwa ha ba hantle ka tsona meeting wa class ha o swane re qetelana ho no itse re tla bitswa ape for follow up meetings ho tlo bua implementation ya CSF, but only to find hore ha re tse ba phutsi tjhelete ba iphutsi ka mabaka afi ya ba o sa bua ka yona mara ka nako yo toropo ke ena e tletse ditsotsi o rekiswa di trucks ona mona ka go toropo motho mang ha batla go rekisa on ka mokotla ditapole Shoprite o dula hohle fela mo wa rekisa ha ona regulations e etsuwa. So all those things we were trusting hore that CSF program ene ka tswela pele ene tlo gona ba molemong wa setjhaba sa borona, but re bona e stotse fela ha re tsebe na no tshega batla dikarabo masepala a gone hore araba. Now department le yona ka mona ha ya re fa clarity ya project eo, and we really want to know because ne le molemong wa setjhaba. And then on the issues ta roads and transport wa Chairperson, re na le crisis ya di company procurement system e sebediswa mo hona le bothata ba di company tse fuwa mesebetsi mono di hona le allegation ya company tse ding tse fuwang bo mesebetsi ya o khatha bojwang ka thoko tsela ka mona tla be di fuwa mesebetsi be di sa sebetse mara bentse di patala. So we tried to get database ya di company tse ne di involved in that all, And then how change to administration o kena batho ba itseng ba leleka company tse ding tsone be di a sala go sala go sebetsuwa go ba monate, and ba sebedisa le bona system ya overlooka di-company tsa local when it comes to these opportunities, and that is to deprive local people mesebetsi e simple ba ka kgonang go e etsa. So re kopa ba ke ba ga tlhalosetse na o tla jwang ha ba etsa ntho tsena be ba sa kgone go ba considere di-local SMMEs ba na le capacity ya go etsa mesebetsi eo.
No, thanks very much. Can I just remind you that when our office was engaging with yourselves, in terms of interpretation services, you said you are going to present in English. And there are people in this meeting that do not understand the language down that we have switched to. It puts us in the bad light as the legislature, as if we have not prepared adequately for this meeting, and we did. But proceed, and let me take this opportunity to really apologize to people who are disadvantaged at this stage. We are bringing in interpretation services that will assist going forward. But I just wanted to put it on record that this matter was looked into, but we are here, we are. Proceed. I'm not disadvantaging you. Please use your language of your preference.
Okay, Chairperson. No, it's because I like a change how many Chairperson Lampaka I tell change. Yes, Chairperson. I bet you under oath, Chairperson. You like a table 16 number show back the whole of the fellows. Thank you. Generally on roads. You go back to the paper and bring your Chairperson. Chairperson, ntho e nngwe e hlahellang mona eo re nanang go mohlomong lefapha la road le ka re thusa ka yona hobane masepala o santsana a hlolehile ka yona. Masepala ba kgone go fa dikarabo ke ena ya taxi ranka e sa leng e ja tšhelete ya rona ditshebeletso nke be ne o tjene re tswetse molemo. Mohlomong ba lefapha la roads and transport o ka ba le mo ba ka ba re thusang teng. Taxi ranka ke yane mane e jele tšhelete tsa rona. Ha ona consequence management, ha ona letho ka mantsoma le etsuwang go lata tšhelete e sentsweng. Re bona hore molemo wa go taxi ranka e be teng masepala a hlole ho araba empa e sa re sebeletse go ko etsuwe ho nka temana eo. And so a re shona e tla wela ho roads and transport ka tsele jwang but re hopola hore e ka nna ba ka ba niamana le taba tsa batho ba di-taxi jwalo jwalo ba ka no ba le seo ba ka ba se bua hobane di-taxi di ikarabella lefapheng la bona.
Chairperson, if I may ask, I just want to know how far is the interpreters? How far are the interpreters? Because I'm afraid that some of the questions that might have to be answered by certain departments are with officials that cannot even understand a single word being spoken by the petitioners, and it might be a problem when coming to answering their questions. So moving forward, I don't find it very fruitful. Thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah, no, maybe we must pause for a few minutes. How far are we? They will be here, the interpreters will be here within the next 5 minutes, so we can take a breather a little bit. But I'm tempted to give the MEC chance to respond on the DESTEA issues. Please, let's remain seated, colleagues. I'm tempted to give the MEC a chance to respond to the DESTEA issues because I know he's not going to disadvantage any of us. Honorable MEC, you're welcome to the Vakume.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings to all honorable members present of the Petitions Committee. Greetings to the HODs present in this meeting, officials from various departments, and the organization called the National Service Delivery Forum, led by Ndade Potso Moduka. I'm going to try by all means to stick to what we were petitioned for, although I'm tempted to respond to other things that he later raised, which are not part of the things. But I think because in the petition, I'm not sure if Ntate Potso was aware, they also request a meeting. And I think we're going to agree that let's have that meeting with them. But I just want to caution him. It must not be a meeting where you call me as the MEC, or let's meet 10 minutes from now, I'm at the taxi rank. It's hardly impossible. I know he will say he tried. Yes, he tried. But the manner in which he tried to have those meetings was these ones as if we had already agreed on an appointment, only to find it was a first attempt. So in future, Ntate Mkotso, you go to the office, ask the details of the PA of the MEC, and make a proper appointment so that we are able to respond. Because I think twice I was not around Bloemfontein, and he was around Bloemfontein. He requested an agent meeting, which he wanted to have with me, on some of the issues that he has raised. So we're agreeing on the meeting to respond to one of the requests he has made. We're agreeing on the meeting. Fortunately, today the HOD is here. So he will take the contact of the HOD and they will arrange that meeting. Pending on our availability, both of us, themselves and ourselves, will have that meeting. They asked a question about the 500 million fund. DESTEA is not part of the 500 million fund. The 500 million fund was the responsibility of SITFA. SITFA is an entity run by the National Department under the Small Business Department, which is led by Mestela. And she has been to many forums where she has been giving report about what happened to that. But if the needs arise and the Free Staters ask us, we'll therefore interact with the Department of Small Business and get them information as to who are these people that have been funded in the Free State. The only trick in that Potso is that, and through you, Chair, people who are being given funds, they want their identity not to be made to the public. And for serious reasons. One, in the main, it's crime. I will tell you that when I arrived in the department, I visited one business person in Botshabelo who was dealing with the tombstones and headstones. And after our visit, and after we made a statement that we are sponsoring this guy had 3 robberies. As we speak, I think 3 months ago, he was shot at again. He was hospitalized because of our negligence on our part to go out and say we have funded so and so. So now of late, people are very much, although I've tried to explain to all business people that, look, we are working with the public money and the public needs to know. But at the very same time, we still have the responsibility to ensure that we protect the privacy of individuals that are being funded. So that is why it's going to be tricky if the people are, who are these ones that are being funded? We know we've got data. We can only give them data in the form of a meeting where we are sure that data will only be for that meeting, not for anyone to go out and publicize that so-and-so has been given so, so-and-so is given so. The issue of the system, the new system, Ntate Potso is correct that I went to Lesedi FM after there were technical network glitches, and that was in July. And that was the reason why I even came in the house through various committees, and after my consultation with the Premier, that we need to reopen the application online because the first one had problems. That was July. So with any system that we introduce anywhere in life, you'll always arrive at challenges because it's the first thing that we are trying to do. Whether it is the development of the phones, you know, from 1G to 5G that we are using today, there's always been new cliches that comes with new systems that we put on the places. So the reason why we had another open period during September was because we have taken a notice, an observation that the July one had problems and we had to attend to. So yes, indeed, I went to Lesedi to make people aware that some of you who are applying, you might not be reaching the department because the system had its own glitches. But other than that, we then release officials to all district offices. In Mangaung, there were 2+ provincial officers who were working tirelessly, and I even instructed them to work on weekends to ensure that they actually help people to understand the system, but to maneuver and actually overcome the network glitches that were there. Because some of them, it was not even glitches, it was because it was a new system for the first time for all business people in this country. Let me remind the Topozori, it is the same business people who were complaining that this thing, the application in the department and give them to individual officials, it has its own problems. Number one is that some officials take advantage and then they do bansa application mala. So it means your application will be left with some of the documents not being in the document. So the reason why we introduced the online application was to actually avoid those things that were happening in the olden days. So it has been working. There are, as we speak, colleagues, in the Free State, we had 1,063 applicants, and 120 have been approved. In the 120, 68, we still have to pay them. And the issue of payment is so sensitive because we are not just going to do it in the manner in which it was done in the past. There has to be a verification that talks to your application. I will make an example. In an area, Harib, one person was qualifying with everything. But when we visit the business side, we were told that this guy is more than 3 years on that side. So the expectation was that you will just be given money because he has applied. Only to find that we have put some system in place to say, if you say you've got a tech shop, if you say you've got a saloon, if you say you've got any other kind of businesses that has qualified at that period, we even do the physical visit to the business so that we are able to know that this business that is going to be funded has this thing. So that is why we've got these people of the 68. But the other things that are in the system, our own system again in the department, and I've been open about them, that because the system is new, even officials, they're still, say right system because it's still new. They still want to remain with the old. And I've then said, no, we're now using the online application. We are going to introduce it, unfortunately, to all other business communities. The second one that HOD, if I'm not mistaken, are the events. We have said even the ones who are going to apply for the events now, we are going to use the same system, the online application, because it helps everyone. Indeed, there could be other people who might not have access to data and all those things. That is why we are issuing out officials to help. But it helps everyone because it makes you to avoid this thing, my application, some documents that I've sent are now missing. Because once you apply on application, you always remain with your original documents. That will always work as a proof that when I applied, all my documents were as per the request or the requirements by the application. So those are some of the questions that I can respond to all these things. The issue of permits, the small business, the change of the system, I think we can then dwell much with them together with COGTA in our meeting, which we have agreed that indeed we need to have that meeting, and that meeting can then deal with those things. But I think the HOD is here to also add on other things. The illicit, okay. Let's talk about the issue of illicit products, but also talk about the foreign national owners who are still getting benefit from government. Number one, the issue of illicit product is not only the responsibility of DESTEA. It's so many departments that are involved, including the Department of Health, the health inspectors by municipalities, the SAPS are also involved. What we only do as the department, we facilitate that the products that are supposed to be on shelved, they get barcoded. We've got a system that will show you that this A product is not supposed to be on shelf. But the issue of illicit goes then to other departments to check whether is it illicit or not. And to close the warehouses, it needs all these departments working together to close the warehouses that are responsible for illicit products. The issue of closing shops, it is our responsibility together with the SAPS. Every time we arrive at a tech shop that has all these other things that are not supposed to be there. For instance, our responsibility is also to look at the permits. We look at the documents. Do they have the certificate to operate? Do they have the municipal permits? Are they registered with SARS for tax purposes? All those things. If they are not being found in that kind of a business, we then request the police that let's close this shop with immediate effect because it does not. But let's be honest, who opened these shops again? Our own members of the communities. These people are hiring these shops, not from the Department of DESTEA, not from any department, from our own community members, which also they must now start to help us. They must begin to be responsible and take accountability on the action of members of the community. That's the first one. The second one is this one of applying for funds. There's no way that foreign nationals will be given funds that are only made for local people, unless with the help of local people themselves. There are people who have licenses of businesses, but these licenses, they don't actually belong to them. They belong to foreign nationals. Le hirisa di garage le matlo alone to make these businesses to operate. And it makes it difficult for us to even to try and intervene. So what needs to be done? We need a collective action, a collective approach between ourselves and communities to isolate elements that are just making money out of these things. Already now, as you know, in the Free State, we have made a regulation which criminalizes even not only the businesses, but the owners of the properties. Should we arrive at your business and find that you have said you are a salon, but in your salon, orexa cigarette, orexa jwala, orexa, these things are not licensed to be at the salon. We close, but as and when we close, we open a criminal case, but the new regulation also allows us even to open a criminal case against the owner of the properties. So these people who are owning RDP houses, who have turned them into businesses, even without going to municipalities and ask for a rezoning, they must know that the department is coming together with the SAPS and other community organizations who will be able to help us so that we are able to isolate and then start to get the real South Africans. The problem is being caused partly by the system, but secondly and in the main, it's South Africans who are giving permission to foreign nationals to do as they wish. Some of the foreign nationals who are owning this Plaza shop, they don't even have permit to be here in this country. We don't ask them when we give them our houses. We just say, this is how much you are going to pay. We don't even go to municipality to ask for rezoning. Municipalities just always are caught up with tech shops that are mushrooming. So the responsibility lies with us and members of the community. So you must change that thing and ensure that we work together to build a better economic growth and economic development for the people of the Free State and the people of South Africa. Thank you. I think if the HOD has something, we'll also add.
No, thank you very much. Chairperson, MEC has covered a lot. I think from my side, it's just to indicate that there are also different categories in terms of funding. We have sponsor shops with a particular amount. We also have small enterprise support, and then we've got medium as well as blended funding, which we need to also be aware. The last thing, maybe from my side, sometimes we get frustrated because of the fact that when we deal with funding, there are processes that we ought to follow. Firstly, as MEC has indicated, we need to ensure that there's a due diligence before funding can be disseminated or given to any enterprises. But beyond that, you are not going to get all what you have requested, because we must still do monitoring and evaluation. So sometimes we'll pay in tranches, which may frustrate the process, but we have to ensure that indeed there's accountability and we pay some of the existing businesses. Hence, we've got that process. Chair, let me pause here. I think MEC covered everything, but lastly, it is always important to distinguish between small business development, Department of DESTEA, and some of entities that are governed by national and those that are governed by the province. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You see the difference between a politician and a technocrat. Yeah, you can note that. You can note that. No, thanks very much, Honorable MEC, for clarifying issues. I'm going to allow the colleagues, the honorable members, to quick. Oh.
Honorable Chair, through you, and good morning to honorable members. In the petition, I think the petitioners had lumped COGTA and economic development under number 14, and it's more or less the same related issue. So I'm not too sure. To give a fuller picture to what both the MEC and the HOD have dealt with, we thought we would deal with the issue of the spaza shops, starting from the minute when there were incidences of those substances that led to kids being killed. So our presentation in the main, it's complementing there. So I'm just not too sure, Chair, or what do we do? I think I wanted to raise that.
No, let me suggest a way forward to say, your presentation, let's make it part of responses as we ask questions, so that you become part of the DESTEA in terms of responding to questions that we might be coming from the from honorable members here. Honorable Khoban.
Chairperson, I think the MEC has given a clear direction in terms of an important event, a meeting of stakeholders to discuss these critical issues raised. And that is an important meeting because it will go deep into issues raised. And my suggestion would further say that such a meeting must include relevant stakeholders. Business organizations must be part of that, so that both COGTA, DESTEA, municipalities can get a clearer view from people involved in the industries, and also decisions that will come from that will then assist us as a committee to have a clearer understanding. So what we can only say from the committee is to say, maybe to give the timelines, to say if it's possible that within 2 weeks or a month, such a meeting must have taken place, and that maybe next month, or maybe we say it's June now, before the end of July, we must have received as a committee a feedback about the development of what would have been agreed on in such a meeting. I think the important thing at the moment is for such a meeting to take place and there be progress. So that will be my suggestion. To ask questions further than this would just to be to anticipate what might transpire in such a meeting. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks very much, Honorable Khobane. Honorable Skobela.
Thank you, Chair. I think I agree with Honorable Khobane, but I want to implore to the department and the MEC that it will be important that as you have that meeting, bring in the Department of Home Affairs so that they explain in detail, so that there's a clearer understanding between the Immigration Act, Section 22 permit, and Section 24. Your Section 22 being asylum seekers, Section 24 being the Refugee Act, their duration and all those things, because there's a confusion between asylum seekers when you have a refugee status, Immigration Act, because these two, Section 22 and 24, they supersede the Immigration Act. because of what is stated in our law, so that everybody understands the law, so that we do not sin, or the government is not seen headhunting those that have been given refugee status or asylum seekers. So I think it will require a clear understanding, because there's a separation and a clear differences between those three issues. Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks very much. I think it boils down to the same request that was made to say, let's fish broadly as possible, all stakeholders that are supposed to be that. Before we close that, maybe I must allow the subs to talk about the illicit products that are found around the Obutabelo, and that the party, the petitioner is requesting assistance on. That there is a factory somewhere there that produces these things and nothing's been done about that, wondering whether the case was open or not. But let me give subs a chance. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. I think in terms of the petition prescripts, we're a little bit caught out here, because it's not what we prepared for. But I would be very interested if that information has been forwarded to the local police or to the police itself for us to intervene if there's illicit. We normally, like the MEC indicated, we normally work in a consolidated manner when we approach these entities. And I think with that information given to us, we can react to it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the petitioners are aware of that, and they will assist us in terms of dealing with that. I think the services are here. We can now start with the next bunch of... Honor, let me see, you are allowed to go in peace and not in pieces. So Tatela Makarad, unfortunately, if there are issues, you'll have to lead as a leader to respond to some of these things going forward.
Okay, I thought that's why I wanted to find out, Chair, that issues raised by the petitioners on their paragraph 4 of the petition, it's about spaza shops and so forth. So we wanted to find out as to whether after the presentation by DESTEA, should we amplify that in terms of the presentation that we have done, because it covers the value chain, bylaws, registrations, and the funds itself that they were referring to.
No, maybe we must allow that. Maybe we must allow that and have the translation equipment or personnel availed to those who need them.
Chairperson, my worry is that if I don't know, unless if I misunderstand the line that is being proposed, my worry is that if the HOD is going to present and repeat what from what I hear, what has been said, which is what we have referred to the meeting that must take place, that we will then be reopening what we had already decided on, so that we then as we move forward focus on other issues and leave out. Now with the department, this is the Department of Cooperative Governance, that all other issues are still part of what they have to deal with in terms of cooperative governance. But if you then say the department must then make a presentation that repeats what we have already resolved on, we are then taking the meeting back and starting from the issues that we have already resolved on.
All right. I have noted what you are saying, Honorable Khoban. The only problem that I'm seated with is I don't want to preempt. My own view was that they were still presenting, and we wanted them to present and finish off. But then we had a clinch, hence the response. Now, my own view is that we are going back to them, let them present. While they are seated here, they might pick up some issues that are relevant to them and then respond to that. Thank you. With translation equipment being provided to those who need, we proceed. A translator from the screen. Okay. Thank you very much. We proceed. I think the translation services, either in person or whatever, or device or whatever, will be given to those who need them. Can you proceed with your presentation?
Thank you once again, Chairperson. I just show ne se ke qetile mo ne ke le teng, but re ke fetele o SAP as a director, Chairperson. Re na le mathata serious a dikoloi tsa maponesa. Dikoloi di dutse di mamajwe all around the province, the police station kaofela. Tse ding di fletile mabidi, tse ding a di na di battery. But batho ba bo rona ba hloka thuso ya dikoloi tsa sepolesa. Mare ha o ka thuna le batho ba bo rona mona ba ipelaetsang ba ntseng toi koloi tse tlala mo tsa maponesa di ngata haholo. Batla di tshwantse ho thusa baahi ka tshebeletso tsa sepolesa dikoloi ya dio. Adio, re a bolellwa hore dikoloi ya dio. And again, Chairperson, re lekile ho bua le maponesa, re la ga ba le meeting le bona. Be ba re batla re bitsa ba nke fela dintho tsa hore ba suka ba re bitsa. So, what I'm referring to gore dikoloi tseo tse ding tse phelang tse teng. Ho na le ba ka hodimo ka di renke, ba chaisa ka dikoloi tsa mosebetsi, be ba re ba stand by. Re tswa e bona makgetlo a mabedi. Boithuso police station ka nako eo ne re hloka maponesa immediately ka nako eo. Tjhaba sena dikoloi be ebile ba re jwetsa hore a ke tsebe ke captain ka parking according to the rank tsa bona. A nkileng koloi o stand by o chaisitse ka yona, and therefore hona ntho ba ka ba re thusa ka yona. Ke ka nako eo ntse o tswa di cable and evidence le teng re le sure re lo kreya batho ba rona ka dintse hore di hlokang. So tabe ya dikoloi tsa maponesa, Chairperson, e bohloko. Batho ba shwa sa hlokahale maponesa a sa fumaneng. Koloi tsena ha di batluwe di be teng di etse mosebetsi wa tsona. And Chairperson, tabeng ya maponesa re na le kgwao ye re utlwang hore ha o hirwa batho bana ba iswa di-college mane, ho na le batho ba sebetsang sepoleseng ba sebedisang matla bona ho kgetholla batho ho fa ba itseng favor. So I'm not sure how real is that, kapa is there a plan in place ya bone hore ntho e jwalo ba ka kgona ho ba stope, because ha re utlwa le gone re utlwisa bohloko hore ka mantswe a mang ba bang ba bana ba batho ha ona monyetla go bona ba ka qetella ba sebeditse, even though ba lakatsa ho sefa country ya bona, ho sefa community tsa bona. Ye nngwe hape Chairperson, hona mo maponeseng mo ho na le dikoloi tsene di eme ka Bensvlei police station tse ngata haholo, ke shone di qete selemo di eme ka moo. Ne le koloi tse ho thindi ya di police station di eme nako e telele, le koloi tse ntjhane ke di bona, but ha di ka ba tsa qetella di tlile bathong. Re la ra utlwela fela ho thuna le e mong ya ba ikarabellang ka hodimo ya hanang ha dikoloi di tswa di ya mo di tshwanetseng ho ya teng. So ne re batla ba ke ba ga hlalose dikoloi tseo tse ka mo di la tsa qetella di tswile di isitswe di police station di feng. Le lebaka la hore koloi e ka ema ka taere kapa battery for selemo kaofela e sa lokiswe na. And re utlwile hore ba na le di-budget tsa dikoloi, each koloi ina le budget ya teng. If koloi ina le budget ya teng e ya kae ha e ka re dikoloi ntse di eme mono. Hape Chairperson, di-police station tsa rona di bohlaswa, di fail. Toilet tsa teng ha o kgone ho kena. O ka ya Naval Sekge, o ka ya Botshabelo, o ka ya Boithuso, all the same. Di-toilet fela tsa public ha di kgone ho sebediseha. Not only tsa public, Chairperson. O ka ya di-toileteng kapa di-kitchening ya maponesa mono. I was ne ke lo yengwe ya di-police station mane Botshabelo, right yona police station ya Botshabelo. Kitchen ya teng le ditulo tsa teng di tabolela maponesa, di hlaile dipekere, di fedile. Hantle maponesa ba etsang ka tjhelete ba ifuwang e tshwantseng e thuse hore batho ba sebetsa mabeleng tse ba sebetsang ka tsona. Di-computer di sebetse ka ga police computer di ba dutse le tsona ka pela bona mara di sebetse. Ke di old fashion ntse re di boneng mono. So ntho tseo kaofela tseo di ama phanwa ditshebeletso ka ho sepolesa. the holding cell tsona chairperson di utlwisa bohloko because ha o ka kena ka mo o le motho wa bo di asthma o ka nna tswa ka mo o shwele ha o hanga di antle la e ka ba motho a kwallwa mo ke motho a tlotseng molao mara di antle di faila di na metsi ha o hlapui mo because ha ona metsi dikobo tse mo a di robaleng la e ka ba o se tlokotsebe mare health ya hao kapa bophelo ba o botla pele. There's no dignity in that. I understand maybe it can never ditokelo tsa di limited, but not benefit life di threaten life ya motho. O tswa mo o kula o sa tsebe maro ke no le hand. It's not right. So re batla maponesa ba ke ba hlalose gore na o etsalang ka boemo bo etsalang ka go di police station tsa bo jwang bo boholo e ka go tla tlola le dinowa mo mara ba na le ditšhelete. So I think I will limit hakalo chairperson di ntonta. Okay, chairperson maponise re na le di place teng ka o bontshang tsona tsa mo rekiswang di drugs. Ona le motho mo manual Nigeria ma ona ntshe ya qeta mo tshwarisa.
You are still talking to your petition, yeah?
Yes. Ke bua ka maponisa. There's somewhere mo re buileng ka maponisa service delivery ya bona is not right, chairperson.
Okay.
Yes. So hona le batho be re ba tsebang ba rekisang di thethefatsi re try go ba tshwarisa chairperson ebile re di enemy tsa batho bao mara maponisa ba khone kwalla batho bao now re botsa rona ho ja bo man le batho bao because le baka la go ba se ba kwallwa tla mabelle teng. We are very worried. I can take you now, chairperson, now here nka ya lwena mo ka lo bontsha di pleke tseo o bo bitsa maponisa o bo bona na o tlo etsala eng ho sa ne motho o tla ba le teng Thabanchu ma ona le mo guletsweng ka lebota le kanang le lebota le ebile na ya kholle nyane le ne re le mo le maponisa tjha ba go thino ba tlwelle o kena ka mo ba lontsha dintho tseo di le teng so maponisa ba re compromise ho hanga go utlwisa mosebetsi wa maponisa no tje ke a e feta ya maponisa chairperson chairperson ke nana gore teng ka yang ho tsona tse ding ke Department of Health ka mora yona e be education chairperson Department of Health re na le di professional nurse tse sebetsang ka go di facility tsa health but aba sebetsi aba di positioning tse ba tshwantseng ba tsona. So there's a mess up man Department of Health man ona le di case tsa bo di rape tse tsalang bo pelnomi ntse di kinywa tlasa di carpet di sketsa tse ba hala so re na le crisis le bona re ba batla chairperson aba fumane bo HOD le last week ne re le office tsa bona aba fumane and pelnomi mane ho sebetsa toilet tse iwane tsa di client patient o rape patient o mumu ke ntse ba sa batleng a di bua.
Just hold on a little, Honorable Skabela.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, we're going to appeal to you that the petitioner stick to what is raised in the petition because it's going to be very difficult for us to engage on issues that we do not have documents for. Like majority of issues that are raised for subs, they are not in the petition, including what is raised with the Department of is not contained in the petition. And we do not have the documents for that, for us to be able to be empowered to engage fruitfully and provide direction on those issues. So it is our appeal that, through you, Chair, that the petitioners raise issues that are confined with the documents that we have so that we are able to intervene where we are able to do so. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, no, I tried to caution the petitioner here because this document has got your paragraphs 1 up to paragraph whatever. My own understanding is that when you deal with, for instance, paragraph 1, you'll speak to ghost workers in Mangaung, SAPS, Department of Public Works, Department of Health in the Free State. That's paragraph number 1 talks about ghost workers in all the departments. So that is what the department should have come here prepared to respond to. Then you go to your I don't know whether there's any other area where the Department of Health is mentioned except with ghost workers. So I requested that we stick to what is here, because going around like that is not going to assist us to deal with your concerns.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Can Chair?
Before you come in, Honorable Khalek.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I wanted to speak before the MEC, the response of MEC. But nonetheless, Chair, if I can just go back a little bit to the point of Honorable Mego, the one of the background, if we can get the background of the forum, so that we can be clear or forum e representa bomang, because kutlwe ntate a bua le ka taba hore ho na le ba bang ba siyo mona ba ba representang tse ding di forum. And jwale my point is on this one, Chair. If you can go point by point, paragraph by paragraph of the petition, maybe it can make sense, because now the story is broad and it's not specific. Remember, we are here to assist the petitioner. Kamatata analone. I care for service delivery. So if you are talking about the, like for example, the ghost workers in Mangaung, you must be specific. Ghost workers, you have the evidence, all those things, so that we can Tusa as a committee. The other thing, Kiena ya Chair hanyane fela. Ntate o buile ka hore ba rometse di petition in different departments, and ha ba ka ba fumana di responses ho tse ding tsa tsona. And MEC o hlalositse ho ya hae hore mabaka ke a feng. Maybe ha re ne re startile mo to check hore ke di feng di departments tsena tse le rometseng di petition tse le sa ka tsa le araba mabaka a hore ba ska le araba ke a feng, and then re nke mo. So now the story is brought, ha re tsebe le rona as a committee hore re assista kae re tlolla kae, and ho na le di allegations tse ngata in between. So maybe if you can assist us, please, Chair. Thank you.
No, thanks very much. The directive is this going forward. When you address us, take us to the paragraph that we are talking to, according to your document. You have your document in front of you. Take us to the paragraph that we are raising, and we move with speed. Thank you very much. No, we are going to engage later on. We are just allowing them to present their petition and finish. Thank you very much.
Chairperson, you know, it's an department by department, so when I'm trying to do that now, and that's why I need to understand the ability out of order.
Yes, the issue that the chair is having a problem with is allegations that we are making that are not contained in your petition. And we have these ladies and gentlemen here invited to respond on this document that we send to them. Earlier on, I did indicate that I'm not going to allow a situation where departments are going to be ambushed by being asked things that they did not come here prepared for. That is why I'm trying to say to you, whatever you want to raise, try to relocate that in the petition that you send it to us. That's all I'm requesting.
No,
And that will assist us. Our intention is not to confuse you. Our intention is to assist you to ensure that the people of the Free State get services that they deserve. All of us seated in this room now have one thing in common: service delivery. Ensuring that the people of the Free State get what they deserve after every election. Okay? That's what we are here for. So let us not abuse the platform. We're not going to allow that, unfortunately. Thank you.
Okay, Chairperson, let me start with number 1. If I already talked to it, I will pass it. I think that way will assist. And I was trying to talk to other issues because of item number 17 on the petition, but then with your directive, I will just highlight each item and then give my colleague to assist me in other things, maybe take Safetang and Toto.
I'm going to rule. Ne?
Yes, yeah.
You see, departments have got presentations to do to us based on this thing. My request is that let's pack your presentations. Ne? Let's allow the departments to respond to these things, so that if at the end there's something that you raised that they did not respond to, you can then engage the chair. All right? So now we're moving. DESTEA has done that. Mangaung Metro, can you quickly deal with issues that are directed to yourself based on the petition? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, honorable members and colleagues. Good morning. Chairperson, my name is Tabang.
I'm sorry to interject here, but I'm warning the departments and Mangaung that people that are going to make presentations here must be people that have authority to take decisions. On whose presentation will be able to make recommendations and take resolutions that will be implemented and that are not going to be blocked by those above yourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. Like I said, my name is Tabang Tinda. I'm the head of Department for Community Services. So I'll be responding on 2 issues on service delivery in relations to waste management as well as landfill site, hiring of security, fencing services and supply of landfill management, landfill site machineries. I will start with waste collection, refuse collection. Chairperson, we do collect, but we do have some challenges in relations to our trucks that are now and then breaking due to the durability of these trucks, compaction trucks. But now we are now finalizing the full maintenance lease so that we are able to ensure consistency in relations to refuse collection. And on top of that, Chairperson, we have partnered with your neighborhood associations, your NGOs, that are actually assisting us to complement in ensuring that the city remains clean. And we are committed as a city, Chairperson, to ensure that every day is a day of collection of refuse collection. And I must say that we are working tirelessly to ensure that we fix our machineries, and also the process of recruitment is underway. Probably by 1 July, about 150 general workers will be appointed to also assist us in ensuring that we fully implement the shift system that we have started partially implementing it last year in August. I'll go to the point number 2 in terms of hiring of machineries. The report, Chairperson, actually will highlight the security services at our landfill site, the fencing installation and maintenance, as well as supply of machinery and equipment. And with regard to security services, Chairperson, The appointment of private security companies is managed centrally by public safety departments. So what we do from our side, we just do a submission to request a security at our landfill site, and then the public safety department would then deploy the security at our designated landfill site. This will assist to ensure that compliance with municipal security policies and coordinated by law enforcement. And funds are available from our vote so that we then are able to pay public safety in terms of their deployment of security services. So thus far, we have appointed a security for seven months period at the 3 landfill site, Northern landfill site, Botshabelo, and Southern landfill site. Now, the companies that were appointed, it's Bole Security at Southern landfill site. At Northern landfill site, it GAPS Security, and Botshabelo is a CC VSS Security. In relations to the fencing at our landfill site, it's important that we ensure that our landfill site are secured and fully controlled. And now what we did there, it's a fencing, it's also, we are saying that fencing is critical for security site, for environmental control, for prevention of unauthorized access. And now at landfill site, we have appointed the Farisa, the company called Farisa Construction. And with the tender that is there, it's bid 657, that was appointed in 2023-24. And the project was to supply and install fencing in the southern landfill site. The duration started in November 13 until 30 March 2025. The second one is a Harenyaswe trading, a general trading, that we appointed to repair and install a new palisade fencing at the landfill site, southern landfill site. Now, in northern landfill site, we further appointed a Harenyaswe general trading for the repair and installation of the palisade fencing. Now, in relation to the supply of machinery, Chairperson, the hiring of machine is handled by the Fleet Management Sub-Directorate. And all processes relating to the appointment of machinery service providers are administered by Fleet Management. So what we do from our side, we do a submission of hiring of equipment as and when, under the vote of as and when. Now, in relations to the particular landfill site that we have hired machinery for, southern landfill site, the service provider there was Rico Mobiles. And then, and also the MVS was appointed as well, MVS Ltd. And at Northern landfill site, Machinini Enterprise Trust was appointed. And at former Naledi landfill site, FMP contractors was appointed to ensure that we operate optimally at those landfill sites. Now, Chairperson, I want to say that Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality employs a multifaceted approach to landfill management. Security services are centrally controlled by Safety and Security Sub-Directorate with Boyle, GAPS, and VSSC ensuring site protection and access control. Fencing contractors, like I indicated, Farisa Construction and Harenyaswe, plays a crucial role in strengthening fiscal security and infrastructure. Fleet management has the responsibility to ensure that machinery suppliers and the contractors that we have appointed enable efficient landfill operations through the provisions of essential services. I must also emphasize, Chairperson, on top of this, to ensure that we not only working as a municipality alone, we have formalized the registration of reclaimers at our landfill site. And what the intention is actually to support them in ensuring that they do their part as well of reclaiming the recyclables that are at our landfill site. We are conducting regular operations together with SAPS, law enforcement, and Home Affairs to ensure that we actually reduce the number of illegal reclaimers at our landfill site. The intention now, Chairperson, is that I did a motivation for sourcing of funds so that we can actually promote the EPWP. There's a program called Presidential Employment Stimulus project, which is PES, that is focusing on recycling, composting, and urban greening. Now we have further, the contract is coming to an end now. That contract we are going to motivate using our own funds to ensure that we maintain the city. The focus now is going to change into ensuring that regreening and cleaning the city, and also focusing at our entrances. And also what we're incorporating there is we want to plant the flowers across the city, especially focusing at the CBD. We are further promoting, part of this project is to promote those reclaims. We're refurbishing one of the reclaim buyback centers in location, so that these reclaimers must utilize this buyback center to do their reclaiming or recycling project. We are in a process to also do a pilot of paving. We want to use waste to paving so that we can assist in patching our potholes, and also piloting some of the walkways and the streets. I'll pause there, Chairperson. Thank you. I've got the colleagues with me, and I wouldn't say they are in the capacity to make decisions, Chairperson. They were requested by their respective HODs to be here, should there be any questions that might arise, so that they can assist in supporting that question, responding to those questions. Thank you, Chair.
Can we agree that there are a number of issues that you did not speak to? You have not spoken to the issue of the taxi rank?
Yes, Chairperson. I only spoke those issues that are lies within my portfolio of community services, and hence we've got informal settlements, we've got spaza shops that are here, and also roads is here. Other matters, HODs are not here, Chairperson.
You see, that is the danger that I spoke to earlier on, the absence of the principles. Because whatever we discuss here, we take for processing at the legislature. And once processed, adopted by the legislature, your municipality must implement. Whether the political elite will be happy or not, the issue will be the province has pronounced on that particular matter. Okay? Can we then identify issues that you could not speak to, and that within the next 7 days, you'll be able to provide responses to, that are acceptable to the leadership of the metro? And then we send that to ourselves. May I also remind the municipality that on the 15th, we sent you a correspondence. You did not respond to that. We sent you a correspondence later on. I think it's on the 15th, the 28th. We sent you a correspondence. The Petitions Committee wants good relations. We are trying our best. But we also have the power to subpoena anybody to come and explain to ourselves here. We don't want to go that route again with municipality. So please ensure that you stick to the requests that we are making. Let's go to page 1 of this thing. They are talking about there's a possibility of ghost workers in the municipality. Can we get a response to that formally so? Then I think there is number 4, informal settlements. Number 6, infrastructure development, your Moshosho Road, the gravel road there. If that is in your capacity, if it's not in your capacity, please indicate. We would love to have an indication of what is happening with pit toilets. That's on the next page. The bus depot, how we? Number 9, taxi rank. It deals with taxi rank, water, and what there. There's number 10 about Musselsport. You dealt with the issue of landfills side. The call center at Mangaung. Those are the issues that I want to leave with you and request that you respond, provided that I have got the support of the honorable members present here. Thank you very much. Honorable Mackay.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I've just got one or two things that I'd like to get clarity on, because he's answered about the landfill sites and the refuse, but I'd just like to get some clarity on because of first-hand experience. Number one, a proper communicated refuse collection schedule that is actually implemented. We all live in Mangaung, we know that doesn't happen. It says Tuesday, it only arrives on Friday, if it arrives at all. So if that communication is properly, the schedule is properly communicated, that must go out on all forms that everybody can get it, and it should be adhered to. And then a properly communicated landfill tariff. You've said what the landfill tariffs could be, but they're wishy-washy. We're not sure if I go there with a bakkie and I'm taking one plastic bag, then I pay for a full bakkie, where somebody else can load a full sedan right up to the passenger seat, and he pays the less amount. So that must be properly communicated, especially to the businesses, because that helps your cleanliness of your city. The weigh bridges, they are not working. So until the weigh bridges are actually working, it's going to be very difficult to implement that. And then your licenses are, of your landfill sites, are connected to whether they are actually compliant. And to be compliant, there's compliant to the Water Act. So I don't know when was the last time your licenses were actually renewed, because to my knowledge, they are not one of your landfill sites are actually licensed, according to Water Act. So that means you are not compliant. And until you're compliant in those landfill sites, they will not be licensed, which means you're dumping illegally. And then the vagrants dwelling on the landfill sites, has that been addressed? How will it be addressed? Because these are all issues that the petitioners raised. You didn't touch on them. Are they going to be relocated? Are they being moved back? Is there operation with Home Affairs, et cetera, And then this piloting project with the waste. That's an excellent initiative. When will it commence? Give me a timeline. And then the last one, Chair, the implementing of illegal dumping monitoring, because obviously with the tariffs that you now imposed, the illegal dumping will tremendously increase, because the tariffs are excessive, in my opinion. So the illegal dumping and monitoring with punitive measures, it doesn't just help having pushing up a tariff and then all of a sudden you've got illegal dumping all over town. So people will be using illegal dumping, and if they're caught, what happens to them? Who's going to implement this? Do you have capacity to be able to handle that? Thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Mackay. We proceed. I'm sorry. Honorable Mego, I'm sorry. Noted.
Chair, I want to agree with you that maybe as well to amplify the point you made, that for those areas that the municipalities are unable to provide a response, we want those responses in a period of 7 days. And then the Petitions Committee will then talk to the petitioners as it relates to those responses, notwithstanding the process which will unfold, because at the end of it all, the legislature, as the chair indicated, because that process is important that we all understand it. The legislature will then adopt a report from this committee and enforces the response or implementation of some of the issues that we think that needs to be done on behalf of the petitioners. But Chair, let's not take it for granted, because unless Mesiska and those who are supporting us will tell us a different story. When we invite anybody in front of the petition, we invite them on the basis of the issues raised. Now, it escapes me why the municipality did not prepare responses in line with the issues raised here. And we are told, no, I was brought here and I can only talk about the issues within my department. It is unacceptable. It is not acceptable. So it is important to respect that process so that there's no up and down of responses to be sought, and we're unable to answer certain, because there's so many, Chair, that Mangaung is unable to deal with in their responses. And that explanation that they are not within my responsibility is an unacceptable excuse. And we need to put it in our report. And the Chair, you did say that at a particular point we did communicate with the municipality on other things, and equally there is no response. And I'm taking advantage because Mangaung is not for the first time it appears in front of the Petitions Committee. On many, many other important things, it came here. They were handled in a very appropriate manner. So that you are not exposed to the process equally is not justifiable. As we write back to Mangaung, Chair, I think those points need to be made very clear before we invoke the other areas of authority within the law to relate to Mangaung. Doesn't mean we agree with the issues raised. But once there's an invite and there's commitment to attend, you prepare in such a way that you are able to respond to these issues. So represent these views to the authority of the municipality. My last point, Chair, is maybe also, Mesiska, in the handling of the issues, point 17 should have been exhausted outside the meeting, so that we are not subjected to any other issue that can be ventilated here, and we take 3 days in dealing with one issue of a petition. It shouldn't have been. There must be specific issues, and that's where the Chair is trying to direct you and the meeting towards. You petition on a specific issue from which we demand on your behalf a response. Otherwise, if it's a general issue like this, it becomes dangerous from all areas. We are not sure what is it that we are dealing with. That's why Honorable Zama at some point had to intervene, the Chair to overemphasize some of the issues, because it will be difficult for us to help on the basis of allegations. But if you put an allegation, equally, people are able to, must be able to respond. But general, broad issues, it will not make our work to be easy in helping you. The last point, Chair, is there's a point I saw here about demand to change the policy. Forgot where it is. There is no department that can answer on that matter. Which point is it? Mrs. Cantus, it's this 1%. I saw it somewhere. Oh yeah, point number 8. The 1% social relief after contracting is insufficient. We don't have a problem to agree with you. For as long as it must benefit our people, we will want it to be 100 million. But if it's a policy, and that policy, for it to be changed, there's a process which must happen. We're not going to change it in a meeting. So we can note it, Chair, and of course, Siska will then help us, sorry, how do we go about, because remember the issues of that. That's why when any law, when it's been crafted, there's a public consultation. And it's our responsibility as a legislature, to the extent that the views of the people, not only one organization, such that that policy does not contradict other interests elsewhere, and everybody else is consulted, and at the end of it all, that policy would then be, what is the English word, proclaimed, or enacted by the provincial legislature. But Chair, I think at this point we can only note the demand, and over and above it, get more clarity why 1%. Because we have been to areas as oversight of the legislature where people have welcomed the 1%. In Sejongskron, where I come from, I know 1% renovated the clinic. You will be disingenuous to want people to reject such a service. But I'm saying that we can know the issue and then process it better. And then when we are ready, in terms of the process of changing of any law, then the committee can then converse with you and provide a response. Thanks, Chair.
No, thanks very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. On Mangaung, I just want to check to add more on informal settlement. The petitioner says there's 27 informal settlement in Mangaung. Let me check with Mangaung. There's any basic services in those, and if not, when it will be implemented, because this is a problem, really, Chair, to take people where there's no basic services. The other one, Chair, it's under point 6, the gravel road. I think this one, Chair, because there's a recommendation that legislature to investigate will maybe get a report on this road from Mangaung. The last one, Chair, is on call center in Mangaung. This call center is still operating, and it's operating effectiveness. Let's check with the municipality. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That is the add-on, the list. Please respond to that. The last one, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. There was also a serious allegation that Ndade Bozo referred to regarding to tampering of water meter reading that is done by the officials of Mangaung Municipality in order to escalate the prices. So I don't know if there's any official from Mangaung Municipality that can answer that so that we can get a clarity on it. And also, I don't know if Ndade Bozo have concrete evidence on what he has put on the table. Maybe place names to the allegations or whatsoever, bearing in mind that we know that people are being victimized or threatened when their names are mentioned. But I think if what do you call, the forum want the Petitions Committee to really assist at length, they should really also meet us halfway in order to make sure that we do our work properly. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. to the petitioners, item number 17 is very serious. We do have subs in here. Together with that allegation that people tampered with meters to steal money from the municipality. Our advice, I don't want to say you are hereby instructed, because we can do that as well. But that is not what I'm going. What I'm saying is you are advised. Take that what Honorable Mukabela has indicated and item number 17 to the police. It's an advice at this stage. Right, let's move, honorable members and colleagues. Let's go to SAPS, South African Police Services. I think the issue that I think talks to yourselves is item number 12. But because you have prepared a presentation, I allow you, sir, to present to us. That will be for SAPS and Secretariat at the same time. Whatever issues that is on your table, please respond to that. Mangaung, you can go and prepare our report.
Okay, Chair. I wanted to thank Chair and honorable members, but the emphasis that I wanted to say, Chairperson, is that we are committed in ensuring that we improve our internal communications and the response time. So we will respond in 7 days. And as I came here as a head of department for community services, I will also ensure that we coordinate from my side to office of the city manager, and so that we respond to all the issues that were raised here within those 7 days. And we are specific in terms of what is actually needed in relation to the queries. Thank you, Chair.
We are thankful for the commitment. Please live up to it. Thank you.
Sure.
You are.
Yeah, before Balugula, Chair.
Apparently, there's a question for Mangaung before you leave.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. Chair, I just want to check whether municipality is having a metro police, because here they are saying metro SAPS and metro police in this document. So I don't want us to mix issues here, because it will say to us, you are having a metro police, can't you don't have that into metro police. And the other one is the vote number called as and when. I just want clarity on that, because we are not having a vote number like that. It's where the money now is getting lost, because there is no name for that particular vote number. Is it savings or is it as and when? Are you utilizing it as when and how? I don't know. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Mangaung, you are excused. Thank you. We proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. Our response would be based on question 12 of the memorandum. And we had prepared something, but I think I will just take the committee through the response that we prepared. It is regarding police and metro policing. So as Civilian Secretariat, we have a role or the responsibility of oversight on policing police, whether at municipality level or at the provincial level. So we just thought we should state that this issue comes a long way. But the background we can give is that according to Section 64 of the South African Police Act of 1995, an MEC responsible for safety in a province can receive an application from a municipality to establish metro police. And this process had already happened. I don't know if I should mention the authority then, but it was around 2019, 2020. So the MEC received the application, and the MEC escalated it to national, because it's the prerogative of the National Commissioner to do that. At receipt of that application, the National Commissioner of Police granted and permission and approved the establishment of the Metro Police. So after his approval, subsequently the establishment of the Mangaung Metro Service was formally promulgated through the Provincial Gazette number 124, and it was published in March 2020. So after the gazetting, there was, however, a letter that was written by National Treasury based on this decision advising the Metro on the police service that it should not establish, the Metro was not ready to establish such function in the Metro. The advice was based on persistent financial constraint faced by the Metro and existing challenges in core service delivery. So the National Treasury's position emphasized fiscal sustainability and need to prioritize basic services prior to incurring additional personnel and operational costs associated with Metro Police services. So while the legal establishment of Mangaung Metro Police Services has been published, implementation remains on hold to date, pending on resolution of financial viability concerns raised by National Treasury and alignment with municipalities' financial recovery plan. As it is, Provincial Secretariat continues to monitor the matter and to provide policy support to ensure that any further implementation complies with the legislative prescripts and fiscal responsibility. So that is our response. I hope it provides clarity to the fora regarding this matter. So the province has complied with all legislative requirements for approval of the Metro Police Service. The decision on operationalization now rests with the Metro. English is not very nice to me this morning. Thank you.
Before we step off that and allow other colleagues to jump in here, there is this issue of the CSF that they raised somehow. Can we get clarity? I'm just taking advantage because we spoke about it yesterday. I know you can respond to that. So just take them on board, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the CSFs, like we indicated yesterday, our responsibility as Civilian Secretariat or Provincial Secretariat is to assess established community safety forums. But at this stage, it's a target that is almost very hard to achieve because no municipality in the Free State has established community safety forums. Challenges were related to the challenges of municipalities. The department has gone beyond and above what it's supposed to do to have consultation with some municipalities to a point that even in Mangaung, we presented the CSF policy to them just to indicate the importance or the necessity of the establishment of these forums. So we want to believe, like we indicated yesterday, that it's a task that we will not back off from in terms of supporting municipalities, but that is just how far we can go as an oversight body. So we will still, like the MEC indicated, or we indicated yesterday, that we will still continue to reach out to municipalities and see how we can support them to ensure that these forums are established. Thank you very much.
There's an allegation made that you are throwing monies to municipalities for this. How much have you given to Mangaung?
Chairperson, it would be sad to announce that Civilian Secretariat does not even have a budget to do that. So it's an allegation that is facet from the province. And these forums, I think one of the members yesterday indicated that it's forums that don't even need money because they need individuals from government, province, local government, as well as business and communities to ensure that these safety initiatives are initiated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No, thanks, Chair. I think May responded, but just one point. I know that Tate Mutoko, like we reported yesterday, was part of the people that we presented the policy. He was part of the group that we trained on the CSF policy. This is why probably he's got information around the happenings in as far as the CSFs are concerned. But that is what we did. He was there with other members of the community. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Are we good? Honorable Skobela?
Thank you, Chair. I think the response, Chair, covers that the department has fulfilled its primary mandate. And I think what Honorable Fugo was raising on the issue of does the metropolis exist or not, I think when you look point number 13, that also speaks to the financial recovery, as the department speaks about issues of viability versus what National Treasury is saying about the establishment of the metro. Perhaps, Chair, is one of those reports that we'll have to get from Mangaung, say that they must finish us with the report, because when you look at point number 13, the forum, they are just demanding they're just requesting a financial recovery plan of the institution as well. Perhaps it's one of those things that the Mangaung must provide. Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Skobela. We are moving. The next department is Public Works. I think Public Works, they will respond to ghost workers and Ramkral.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. In terms of...
Before you engage, let's give subs, if they don't have anything else to say. Yeah, subs, please.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, I think our we needed to respond on ghost workers as well. And I did prepare a presentation. I think all public service departments received this communique from the Department of Public Service and Administration on the 7th of September, where we had to undertake a process to actually validate all our personnel, physical verification of it. So we undertook the process already on 12,281 personnel in the SAPS. And we submitted feedback to head office on 12,262. We had 19 that were not verified only. Of the 19, 15 is with regards to service terminations, and 4 were in respect of abscondments. But each of the abscondments we have information on the presentation. There's only one, Chair, that's outstanding, and we're waiting for a report from the District Commissioner of Fezile Dabi on a payroll that was signed and the member was not on duty. That is the only one, but we can confirm that we have no ghost workers. Thank you, sir.
No, thanks very much. That is very comprehensive. Very comprehensive. That will cut across departments to say, how are we doing with that? So departments that are going to engage, it's unfortunate that Ramakarane left before we could address that. But Public Works, let's start with yourself. Ghost workers, and then from there, the rest.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and members of the committee. As a department, we're not aware of any ghost workers. If there's such an information or evidence, we'll request that it can be forwarded to us so that we investigate. In April last month, we had a head count of all personnel in the department. The outcome showed that we don't have guest workers of that head count. But if any information can be provided to us, we can investigate. And number 2, in terms of the Ramkran, the matter is sitting with the Special Investigation Unit. As the department, whenever information is needed or is required or requested by the SIU, we provide that information. That's where chairperson and the members would want to end in terms of the grant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can we get a written submission on ghost workers? How many are you in the department? As a follow-up to this one. Thank you very much. Honourable members? Honourable Skobel?
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, that the item of ghost workers, I think it's an allegation. And it's an allegation of fraud, because you'd know that the issue of ghost employee fraud is categorized as white-collar crime. And as such, it also includes systematic corruption. So what we should do in this instance is to advise the petitioner that if they have, or they see, or they have documents on these issues, to go to the nearest police station and open a case, because ourselves will not be able to investigate such, but only a capable law enforcement institution would be able to do that. So all these allegations of ghost workers, they must just take what they have and then go to the law enforcement institution and open a case, so that it must be investigated, because it includes those categories. Is a white collar crime, and then two, it is a systematic corruption, means that officials would have colluded to ensure that whoever that is not supposed to receive salary or whatever is receiving it. So they must just go to the nearest police station of an affected institution and open a case. That's how we think we must just deal with it, Chair. Thank you.
No, thanks very much, Honourable Skobela. I just took a right from the presentation from SAPS that there is a communication that the departments must do that. What I'm requesting from the department is that report that they send to that department that requested them to do head count, that they must just provide us with that. Yeah, DPSA, they must just provide us with that report. And that cut across all departments. Yeah, but when people know that things are not well, that's why we have South African Police Services. When things are not okay, happening according to law, everybody must ensure that we go and report and open cases. That's all that we need to do. Unlike sitting with an allegation and you are not even able to breathe well because you've got this an allegation and you see it as a very serious thing and you do nothing about it. It will cause your death. The next department, colleagues, Department of Health. The same story, I believe. Health.
Yes, Chair. Thank you very much. Chair, for the Department of Health, we do agree that we did have 3 ghost workers identified in 2024. In 2024, 6 officials were implicated, and the disciplinary process internally has been concluded. Of the 6 officials, 1 left the department before the disciplinary process could take place. 2 resigned on the day they were to be served with the notice of the hearing, and the 3 went through the disciplinary process and were suspended for 2 months and got written warnings. The matter has been reported to the Hawks and is currently with the Hawks. Internally, the process has been concluded. And in 2025, DPSA issued a circular, and we did also do the personnel verification process. And in that second process, we didn't pick up any ghost workers. The report is available, Chair, signed by the MEC Health. Thank you.
And the department will kindly forward that to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
The next department is Human Settlement. Yeah, let's get the Human Settlement report quickly. Responding to areas that are relevant to them. But to what Human Settlement? Apparently they were here, they left. The committee will make a pronouncement on that. Are they still here? Can we allow them to come and occupy a space here, please, and do the presentation? No, let the gentleman sit there. It's fine. He was here when people were taking oath. He indicated that he's not going to take an oath. So he cannot address us. Thank you very much. Go back to where you were, my brother. We'll talk that to that department officially. Human settlement. Are there issues that the Department of Community Safety, Road and Transport needs to talk to? If so, please engage.
No, we responded to the issues, Chair.
Okay.
Yes.
No, thank you. Right, and then let's now deal quickly with the Vaal Central Water.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not quite sure, Chair, if I need to do a formal presentation because I seem to pick up that the matters that are being presented on the petition, much as they cut across the issues of the Metro and us, they seem to not understand what Vaal Central Water does with Mangaung. So we had prepared a presentation and sent to the committee. So I don't know if I'll be allowed to go through that presentation because I feel it's quite important, Chairperson, not only for the committee but everyone else in the House to understand the difference between Vaal Central Water and Mangaung when it comes to water provision in the city. Normally, we know the difference between Eskom and Sentlek, and we are what Eskom is to Mangaung. So we deal with bulk water distribution. Mangaung deals with that particular water to our residents, as I'm also do not pay my rates and taxes and water to Vaal Central, much as I'm an employee of Vaal Central. So I would like to believe that some of the matters that are enshrined in that petition deals with Mangaung and Mangaung alone. The issues of tampering of water meters, Chairperson, we do not have bulk water meters within the city. As I said, even my meter at my house, it is a meter belonging to the Metro and not of Vaal Central Water. So I thought it would be quite important to at least give a perspective of what Vaal Central Water is and how do we then come into the picture when it comes to the distribution of drinking water within the city, if you allow, Chair.
Yeah, no, we won't let this opportunity to learn to pass while the lecturer is here. We are going to allow that so that what we have learned we can also pass to other people. So, yeah, please do that.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if my presentation can be flighted or will I be able to plug in?
Can I just indicate to SAPS that whilst we are dealing with this, and Secretariat, we are really thankful for the presentations. There is something on the room next door. Please don't succumb to a suggestion that you must wait until what happens. Okay, you go in there and, yeah. And, yeah, and that is our hospitality. You are allowed to go in there, please, and have something. And thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair, if I may. So the presentation is flighted, Chairperson. So formally, I would like to thank the Honorable Chair and the Honorable members of the Petitions Committee. As I've indicated, my name is Maruping Rapudungwani, and I'm the executive responsible for operations and maintenance in Vaal Central Water. So I am presenting on behalf of Vaal Central Water Operations and Maintenance Chairperson to provide an operational perspective on our bulk water
Public
supply.
Works as well can go. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that. I'm very sorry.
On our bulk water supply services within the metro, the challenges affecting the reliability and interventions that the entity will be doing. Therefore, this particular slide specifically focus on today's presentation, which is threefold. Firstly, the clarity of the role of Vaal Central Water in supplying bulk water within the metro. Secondly, to provide an honest assessment on operation challenges affecting supply reliability, not only in the Free State, but in the country as a whole. Thirdly, to demonstrate the interventions that are being undertaken to improve the system performance and support sustainable service delivery. As you know, Chairperson, that you have invited us and we are here to do that particular presentation. And we view this platform as an important because water service delivery requires coordinated action among multiple institutions, including National DWS, Vaal Central, the Metro, ESCOM and Centlec and other stakeholders in order for the drinking water to be supplied sustainably in all the areas of the Metro. Allow me to briefly clarify the mandate of our Central Water Chairperson. Our primary responsibility is to abstract raw water from rivers and dams, treat that particular water to potable standard so that you and I can be able to drink. Bulk distribution and supply of that particular treated water to 5 of the 7 towns of the Metro, namely Diversdorp, Wepener, the Greater Bloemfontein, Botshabelo and Tabanchu. Those are the 5 towns that Vaal Central is responsible to provide bulk water to. The other 2 towns of the city in the name of Van Staden and also Soutpan. It is not our area of responsibility, but that of the Metro itself. Importantly, Chairperson, Vaal Central does not operate municipal reticulation network inside communities. Once water is delivered into the Metro distribution system, the management of local pipelines, the reservoirs, the pressure zones, consumer connections like yourselves in our yards, and leak repairs falls within the jurisdiction of Mangaung Metro. However, despite this distinction, the entity continues to provide technical support whenever required. Now, in terms of the support that we do to Mangaung, and not only Mangaung, but to other service authorities within the Free State and Northern Cape responsibly, our support includes operations within Mangaung of Velbedacht Water Treatment Works, Rasfontein Water Treatment Works, and lastly, Groothoek Water Treatment Works near the Khabanyani Dam in the old, those that would know Tabanchusan. That's the water treatment works next to that area, responsible for the southern villages of Tabanchu. Rasfontein is predominantly used for Botshabelo, Tabanchu, and some parts of Bloemfontein. And Velbedacht is our biggest water treatment works with a capacity of 145 million liters a day that we are purifying towards the city. That would be responsible for 70% of the greater Bloemfontein. Operations of Knelport's dam system, which is our storage dam capacity that we are using whenever we are in dry seasons. We are able to then transfer the raw water into these 2 biggest water treatment works, and subsequently for muscle sport as well. Whenever we are in a dry season when the rains are not falling enough, like in the years of 2016 when we had a serious drought in the country. management of bulk pipelines and reservoirs within our jurisdiction, continuous water quality monitoring through our SANAS accredited laboratories. This then assures us that the water that we are drinking is up to standard. Operational coordination during emergency incidents. We do have dedicated teams that are internally dealing with this particular issue. Therefore, we do not rely on contractors to do our maintenance. Despite these various challenges, Chairperson and honorable members, the water supplied by Vaal Central consistently complies with the SANS 241 drinking water quality requirements. This means that when water leaves our treatment facilities, it is safe for human consumption. Some of our key operational challenges. The first one deals with what we call aging infrastructure. Much of our bulk infrastructure supplying the Greater Mangaung is several decades old. Some critical pipelines and facilities are over 40 to 50 years of age and require significant refurbishment and renewal investment. Power supply interruptions, we know the challenges that the country is now moving out of load shedding, but frequent power outages that might happen due to vandalism and cable theft, that particular issue have an effect to interrupt water supply within the water treatment systems that I've already alluded to. The issue of raw water quality challenges, much as we are grateful for the heavy rains, but the heavy rains bring about serious challenges into our dams and rivers, whereby we sometimes deal with issues of high turbidity levels. At times we have to even decrease the supply to the city because we need to do some serious cleaning brought about the debris that are in the catchment, especially in the Caledon system that runs from Lesotho all the way past Wepener to our treatment facility. In terms of water losses, Chairperson, one of the biggest challenges remains water losses within the municipal reticulation network. You would understand, Chairperson, that whenever water leaks within the reticulation, it means that Vaal Central needs to pump more into the reservoirs of the metro. So therefore, it requires that the audited 45% water losses within the reticulation system of Mangaung needs to be arrested in order for us to be able then to supply less, because we are mandated to make sure that reservoirs remain adequate across these 5 towns of the city. But obviously, whenever you can just imagine if you go and take water with a leaking bucket, you would never be able to fill that bucket. And that is why you find that whenever we have to do some maintenance activities, only within a day, communities will start complaining that there's no water within the system, much as reservoirs are there, built to make sure that there's at least redundancy or capacity within the network. Vandalism and theft, the theft of cables and electrical equipment and vandalism of infrastructure continue to place strain and operation and or on the operations and affect the water supply, as I've already alluded to. The next slide, Chairperson. Despite these challenges, the entity has implemented several interventions. This includes the preventative maintenance, whereby I've already spoken about our internal capacity to do routine maintenance, which is conducted in critical treatment works and our pump station, and also the pipeline in terms of the distribution network to minimize any breakdowns that might lead to emergencies. Our winter maintenance program, which is a program that we are very much proud of and we conduct it annually, much as the residents always are up in arms during the times of winter. This is where we interrupt the water predominantly, Chairperson, because as you would understand, this is the only time that we would have where the demand of water is not high. Public swimming pools are not operational. Private swimming pools are not refilled. People are not taking showers like 3 times a day because it's hot. So this is the only time we have the opportunity to look at bigger maintenance or infrastructure that we can do internally. And that is the reason why from June to end of August, we abruptly interrupt water in the 5 towns of the city frequently. But those are called planned maintenance. This is the example that I always make, that you know that every 15,000 kilometers your car needs to go for a service. So this is our 15,000 kilometer service, where we are now taking the distribution network, the water treatment works into serious mode of major services. So therefore, the annual winter maintenance program allows us to do that particular major infrastructure work that is undertaken during the lower demand periods. We also pride ourselves into what we call real-time and system monitoring. This is where our operational teams continuously monitor reservoir levels and system performance to ensure stability within the greater Mangaung. Also, we have what we call emergency response capability, where internally we have emergency response team that deals with any emergency pipe breaks within the city, where these pipeline failures, pump breakdowns and treatment plant incidents are attended internally by our own employees. The issue of stakeholder engagement, we regularly engage and we maintain this engagement with Department of Water and Sanitation led by Dr. Ntidi, and Mangaung Metro Technical Team led by my counterpart HOD Masobeng, and provincial stakeholders whenever necessary. I know that we also form part of other engagement through HOD Ramakarani whenever we are called chairperson, and therefore these are provincial stakeholders that we normally have meetings with. In terms of our strategic improvement initiatives, looking into the new financial year, which is coming in the 26-27, 1st of July, our next 5-year strategic plan is looking ahead, where Vaal Central Water has developed several strategic initiatives as passed by and approved by our board of directors. This includes digital transformation, the issue of reinforcing of making sure that preventative maintenance is enhanced, the issue of making sure that water losses within our distribution network are reduced, and we target and control those below 15%. The issues of energy efficiency, where new pumping technologies and automation system will improve energy efficiency and also operational reliability. The issues of water quality excellence, where we have planned to seriously invest in our existing 2 laboratories, the one in Botterville, the other one is in the Northern Cape, supporting the Northern Cape province, respectively. In terms of our critical risks and support required, Chairperson and honorable members here, there are several issues that require support beyond Vaal Central Water. These include the issues of infrastructure funding. As you would understand, Chairperson, that Vaal Central Water is a Schedule 3B entity and thus does not receive money from the fiscus. We are simply reliant on the water that we are selling to WSAs or municipalities or any other customers or farmers within the jurisdiction, and therefore the biggest risk facing the sector remains insufficient funding for infrastructure renewal, due to the fact that some municipalities, I may mention Machabeng, that we are in serious debt with, that is not paying our water that we are selling in that particular Lejweleputswa district. Without substantial investment, therefore aging infrastructure will continue to fail more frequently, and thus then will have serious challenges in terms of you and I receiving water to our taps. The issue of IGR, intergovernmental coordination, we are then saying, Chairperson and honorable members, a stronger collaborative model between national, provincial, and local government is seriously required. The issues of municipal financial sustainability, municipal debt owed to water boards affect long-term operational sustainability and infrastructure investment. I've already made mention of the 8 billion owed to Vaal Central Water by one municipality in the Free State in the name of Machabeng, and you can understand what we can do, Chairperson, with that one account of 8 billion in terms of infrastructure development in that area of Machabeng, not in the greater Mangaung only. Timely repayment for services rendered is critical for maintaining bulk water system so that we don't face the issues that ESCOM had faced when the matters were raised in 2007 that the infrastructure needed to be seriously refurbished, and the funding never followed, and thus 10 years later we faced load shedding. So to avoid this particular narrative, we need to encourage WSAs or municipalities to pay water boards in order for us to be able to deliver the services to the residents of those municipalities. Infrastructure security, the issues of strategic water infrastructure must be treated as critical national assets. I would have loved SAPS to be in the building, Chairperson, because we are seriously inundated with issues of vandalism. And we don't know in terms of the master plans of SAPS with regards to national key points. What are those particular initiatives that SAPS is doing to make sure that ourselves, Sentlek, ESCOM, are not hard hit in terms of issues of cable theft that are effectively affecting water service delivery to residents at the HAM. In terms of my conclusion, Chairperson, Vaal Central remains fully committed to providing reliable, safe, and sustainable bulk water services, not only to the Metro, but all other 13 water service authorities that we are doing within the Free State and Northern Cape respectively. The challenges confronting the sector are real. It is for this reason that His Excellency President Ramaphosa has established what we call the Water Crisis Committee, which he is chairing himself in the country to deal with the current challenges that we are facing in the country. You have realized, Chairperson, what is currently happening in Gauteng, where the serious water cuts led by the challenges of rainwater together with Joburg water, in terms of infrastructure also that is not maintained. And therefore we are saying as a Free Staters, we don't want to see ourselves featuring in that particular agenda of the President, where Free State, specifically the Metro in this case, would be hammered not to be delivering sustainable water services within the Metro. However, our goal is to make sure, Chairperson, that we remain a serious support towards the municipalities that we serve in the Free State, not only the Metro, and other those municipalities that are also struggling, like the interventions that we are trying to do in Maluti-Apufong, to also try and assist with regards to the service of water in that particular area, because there are serious challenges there. Therefore, success will only depend on 4 key pillars, Chairperson. One being infrastructure investment, second being effective maintenance, thirdly, most importantly, the sound municipal management. And the last one, the 4th pillar, would be the strong partnerships between all spheres of government. Our commitment is to continue supporting Mangaung Metro and all other stakeholders in the Free State and ensuring that every resident ultimately receives reliable access to safe water, to safe drinking water, Chairperson. In closing, Chairperson, thank you for the opportunity to address the committee. Vaal Central remains available to respond to any question and provide further technical clarity where required. I thank you, Kialebo.
The presentation, and thank you very much for that. I wish I could abuse this platform to say, tell us what is happening in Maluti-Apufong, but I'm not going to do that. You see, Maluti-Apufong, there is a resolution of council to disestablish their water, what. There is, yes, there is that resistance from whatever, then Vaal Central Water is also mentioned in the equation, but I'm not going to say that. That you must give us clarity on that. I'm not going to ambush you. Ndadala Makarane, there is this a remark made here that maybe if the SAPS was still present, they would have heard this around vandalism and that maybe a master plan of some sort of preventing the vandalism of infrastructure in the Free State. Maybe we need that. I don't know which, whether it's COGTA or whether it's another, that can facilitate some form of collaborative meeting where these issues can be looked at, because we really need to protect the infrastructure. and subs must come to the party the moment it is called to assist. I think that one heard very clearly. But we want to say thank you very much, and also to say thank you to the petitioners. You know, it's because of you that we heard of this lecture that I indicated upon. But honorable members, I think they want to say something to this. I'm going to open up for that. I'll come back to you. In that order, Honorable Khoban, Honorable Skobela, Honorable Klute.
Chairperson, maybe one would just refer to what was raised earlier on in terms of an employee of Virginia, from Virginia, employed in Vaal Central. Maybe the presentation does not cover that which was raised by the petitioners. Maybe I then thought maybe it's because Vaal Central is not only concentrated in Bloom. Virginia is also part of where their jurisdiction cover. But I want to, on the issue of vandalism, I don't think Vaal Central should come to the committee to cry when they have an avenue to have bilateral meetings with subs. But also with the presentation that we got yesterday was that there are these joint operation committees which subs presented yesterday. And guess what, Chairperson? One of those joint operations committees is chaired by Constable Masukela here. So the Vaal Central should be saying whether are they part of any of such joint committees, joint operations committees. If there's no such, they must then have the meeting with subs. And then if it has to be that, there has to be a special operations committee established with subs. That will come out of their discussions with subs. But just to say that the presentation is very good, but it's not talking to concerns that comes out of this thing, the petitions of petitioners, but addresses generally the concerns of Vaal Central, which they were supposed to raise with the honorable. This presentation, I think, it's supposed to have gone to the cluster committee of either technical cluster of governance, but also Vaal Central. Please have a bilateral with subs and raise these issues of vandalism, and then out of that, those agreements, maybe next time we meet, you must be telling us about the progress report on what has been the outcome between yourselves and subs over that. That will be my brief.
Honorable Skobel, thank you, Honorable Khoban.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, what we might be sitting with is perhaps the problem. You see, when the entity puts its first slide, it speaks to Mangaung, and they are explaining themselves, but they know that themselves, they are not responsible only for Mangaung. They are responsible for 5 municipalities in the Free State, 8 in the Northern Cape. That's where the problem comes in. You explain yourself according to the challenges that you are facing at a certain particular area. And that's not what they are supposed to be doing, because that is what would create the petitioners to have such issues, because the understanding would then be Vaal Central Mangaung, Vaal Central Water, it is a local or a provincial entity, which is not. So it's very important how they must, when they are doing this presentation, I think what is important to address these issues and their mandate, that is clear that they are bulk supply entity. They are not a distributing entity to your taps or your meterings and so forth. So they must have the meeting with petitioners and explain themselves that they are a national entity. They are not a Bloemfontein or a Mangaung entity. No. Then it will address these issues that what do you call? The petitioners, they are raising issues of their staff recruitment policy, what it means. They must sit down and show them their staff recruitment policy says 1 and 2 and 3, because they cover all these areas. In terms of sourcing the labor, when they are a national entity, they can source out in the 9 provinces. But what must become the engagement, say that, why are you not perhaps reviewing your policy to say that because you are servicing these 5 towns in the Free State and eight towns in Northern Cape, you review your policy, then you prioritize these people that are coming here. Then secondary to that, you can then outsource these other skills that you could not find in these areas to a broader country, because you are not a you are not a Bloemfontein or a Free State entity, but a national entity. Because all these issues that have been raised of business, who are they giving business to, who are they hiring, or post that are advertised, they will be clarified. I think here we just need to say that Vaal Central, have a meeting with the petitioners and explain yourself and show them, take them through the policies so that there's clear understanding. Then we are not going to be sitting with this particular issue. And how they present themselves, they must always present themselves as an entity that is responsible for 5 towns in the Free State and 8 towns in the Northern Cape, not what they've just did according to a crisis. When you present yourself according to a crisis, you will definitely be faced with issues that we are facing. But always remember, you are a national entity. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Klude.
Thank you, Chairperson. Unfortunately, when it comes to Mangaung water supply, we need to understand the history of Vaal Central as well. There used to be 2 different entities, Sedibeng Water and Bloem Water, and it was then amalgamated by the then minister, and I thought that was a huge mistake. The reason for that is that if you look at the history of Machabeng and their payment, or their debt to the then Sedibeng, it was massive. Absolutely massive. And I'm concerned that as we continue with this, that this is going to put pressure on Vaal Central financially, and ultimately it will affect Mangaung as well. If this issue is not, if it's not focused to the extent that ultimately this debt by especially Machabeng, Mangaung is not at fault. They also owe Vaal Central a lot of money. But I am concerned, maybe the water board or Vaal Central can indicate the pressure that a non-payment by Machabeng puts on the functionality of the company as a whole. Because we need to see the bigger picture that is at play. So I'm concerned that what happens in Machabeng will reflect in Mangaung ultimately. Thank you.
If I recall correctly, the first statement from Vaal Central was that we are not ensuring water to the tap, but we are ensuring water to the... But it is good that we learned this. I'm going to allow the Vaal Central Water to what right? Okay, go.
I think my seat is the most warmest one in the room because I've been sitting here not even partaking. Thank you very much, and thank you for trying to give a direction of this meeting from the beginning. I saw it going sideways and you made sure you bring it on the line again. With all that been discussed today, I just want to start by saying, actually, there's a thin line between proper channels and red tape.
Allow me to bring the meeting to line again.
Okay.
Don't give the closing remarks first. Allow us to finish this side first. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
That's a belief.
I'm interested to, because my deduction of those introductory statements, it's something that would require the reply. So if you give Vaal Central before him, Vaal Central will have to come back again and respond to, especially once there's a tab on red tape and proper channels. I think it's almost like a grievance. It's going there so that it triggers a response. That's my suggestion, Chairperson. You'll rule.
I just hope that I'm not going to regret allowing you to speak, Honorable Khoba. I just hope I'm not going to regret that. Proceed in that.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Khwabane and Honorable Ntatemane, sorry. Yes. They actually tapped on some of the points that I raised my hand trying to put up front. When I say there's a difference between proper channel and red tape, the approach of response from the different departments determines whether this is a red tape or a proper channel. Now, I would love to request the legislature to, if there isn't such a policy, to create some kind of a connection pipeline of departments in terms of commonality of services. What am I saying by, what do I mean by saying so? I mean, I believe that each and every department is the right department for everybody to approach, anybody to approach. I believe that nobody is lost when you're approaching a certain department instead of another. Now, please be aware, and I'm sure that even previously, not just us today, when the departments respond, they do not respond in terms of assistance, they respond in terms of defense. I only deal with this, but now if such matter keeps on knocking on your door, that on its own, it means you should have a proper relation with a certain particular department that deals with such services. Now, instead of dismissing people and say, this is not my services. So now, if Vaal Water gives us the presentation of what they are all about, even tomorrow, the day after, next year, even 10 years from now, if they will still be providing services, people will still knock on their doors with the services of the Mangaung, services that they do not provide. But now, they should have that pipeline connection that says, that what I call, it's not a dismissory approach, it's a referral approach. A referral approach to say, in municipality or under a certain department, you can go there and you will meet with this particular person who will lead you through this, which is not what's happening. So like right now, we've seen what happened, and to make an example, you as legislature, you have called the municipality to be present, and they send people who does not have the powers to decide in this particular engagement. And now that on its own, it raises questions whether they are aware of how the system works of such engagements, or they are not aware at all. And now again, we find people who are sent by certain departments like human settlements, who are not willing to take an oath, but they are present. We even wonder why are they even part of this engagement that we are having today.
Thank you very much. I said, I hope I'm not going to regret. You'll regret, eh? Thank you very much, Dad. Thank you very much. Can you get responses from Vaal Central to those that are relevant, of course? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Maybe just to clarify, in my opening statement, I said, Chairperson, if you allow me to do an intro of who we are, that did not mean that I did not take the responses that are appearing on the petition or the concerns that were brought about by the petitioners. Safe to say, Chairperson, only one matter came under point number 9. The issue that Honorable Khwaban, the issue of employees were never in the list. And I think Honorable Sukhwabele also then said, let's stick to what's in the list. What brought us here, Chairperson, was to simply give that particular support that the petitioner is saying. We need to have that pipeline. It's that pipeline that brought us here. Much as we realize that the matter does not relate to Vaal Central at point number 9, which is under the taxi rank, we felt it's quite important for us to firstly give a presentation to the Petitions Committee because we wanted to honor that particular invite. Secondly, we then ask to be given a platform to then give the House what we are, who we are, including the petitioners. Now, if I can then respond to the questions or the concerns, Chairperson. Vaal Central is one of the 6 water boards that are currently operating in the country. When we go out for a recruitment process, Honorable Skhwabele, we can't review the policy because we would be quite, if we start juggling around with the policy of recruitment, every South African has a right to apply. Much as when we go out on tender, there's only one system that National Treasury use. It's called e-tender. We have moved away, Chairperson, or the country has moved away from what we used to call database, because National Treasury realized that there was a serious monopoly that was happening during the database days, because it would then mean that only Maruping will remain in the database and Vaal Central will use Maruping's company forever. So the reason why National Treasury opened up this thing via CSD and via e-tender is to give each and every South African citizen an opportunity to bid, not only for a tender, but also through what we call a request for quotation. Now, it wouldn't be much as I'm not from supply chain, but I understand that our supply chain processes are open and clear. Each and every resident within the country is more than welcome to bid if bidders are out. Each and every resident within the 5 municipalities that we service is welcome to apply for a vacancy in Vaal Central Ward. Yes, indeed, especially when it comes to general workers, we will give first preference to the applicants that are coming within the water treatment works. As Honorable Khwaban has already said, we have a plant in Virginia. We'll give people in Virginia a chance when it comes to general workers because it's an elementary position. If we are in Botterville, we'll give chance for people that are coming from Nala area. If we are here in the metro for Valberg Dam, we'll do the same to greater Mangaung towns like Diversdorp, Wepener, and the greater BBT respectively. So it is not an issue, Chairperson, and effectively, so we have not appointed anyone yet, and that's a fact. We are currently in a recruitment process with regards to those particular general workers within these particular treatment works in the Northern Cape and Free State respectively. And whenever that particular process is concluded, the petitioners are more than welcome to go and check who are those that are appointed. You will find that it will be people that are coming within the areas close to those particular water treatment works, because we do believe that as a general worker, you don't even have a car. So it will be pointless for us to go and get a general worker from Gauteng who would require transport to come to Rasfontein, whereas we could have gotten somebody from Botshabelo or Tavancho who's closer to the treatment works. So that is with regards to the issue of how we do procurement, and also the issues of recruitment with regards to vacancies that are there, where it was also then mentioned that we had internships and 9 were hired, 1 was not hired. We don't have any internship programs that are now running in Vaal Central Water, Chairperson, and it's a fact. From an infrastructure point of view, I think I've already touched on the rules and regulations that are there in the country that we are applying. We no longer operate with an issue of database, but we are aligned to the issues of National Treasury, which is the CSD, and other prescriptive laws that are in line with the PFMA, where each and everyone else, through e-tender, is more than welcome to bid for anything that Vaal Central takes out there, Chairperson. If indeed the petitioners are saying we have grade 5s and grade 9s, surely they are more than welcome to bid whenever there is a bid that requires a CIDB grading that is grade 5 or higher within Vaal Central Water, and we surely would consider those based on functionality and other criteria that will be set out in line with the tender itself. I submit, Chairperson.
No, thanks very much for the submission. I want to abuse your patience and willingness to open that channel, and I give this opportunity to COGTA to close the meeting whilst we are sitting there. Yes, ma'am. Honorable Khawan, noted.
Yes, Chairperson. I would not want us, Chairperson, to leave this meeting with the remarks of Vaal Central Water, Chairperson, because there is what we call preferential.
Can you speak to the mic, please?
Yes, Chair. I would not want us to leave this meeting with the understanding of Vaal Central Water on the issues that are raised. When it comes to business, there is what we call procurement issues. There is what we call preferential procurement act. That says to you that you are able to prioritize these towns that you are serving. So what we would not want to see is to say you are working in Machabe or in the Free State, but there is a grade 6 company and then you have appointed a grade 6 company from the Western Cape or the Eastern Cape, when there is someone who has the capacity. That is the issue. And the law does allow for you to say that in terms of preferential procurement act, does allow to source this whatever contractors or whatever business in the Free State, specifically to these towns when they start. And our understanding and what we are saying to is say that open up to the petitioners and the broader people of the Free State and the Northern Cape that you are serving. Do not appoint or find yourself in a situation whereby there's capacity in those areas, and whatever supply, they've ticked your supply chain procurement process, but you then appoint someone outside those towns or in the Free State or in the Northern Cape, because definitely you are going to have problems. So that is we must not leave the understanding that it's open wide, whereas the laws, they allow Vaal Central Water to actually channel the development of businesses and the people in the areas where they are working, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Khawan.
Chairperson, it was not a mistake to give me an opportunity at that time. The context becomes important. What the petitioner raises has a specific context. the context, from my understanding, unless I understand him out of context, is that once you have a concern and you raise it within Ntate Mokoena will tell you what he does, but the issue is not dealt with, and which opens up that he goes to Ntate Tlut, and Ntate Tlut says, so this is what I'm doing. Now, in between, he's running to everyone, but the issue is not resolved. So this then comes to the issue of what both the Premier's office and COGTA has to do, cooperative governance. And intentionally I raised the name of Ntate Masukela, who yesterday we were told in the report by the police that he's leading one committee, Joint Operations Committee. Under him, he also deals with cooperative, the issues of cooperative governance on IGR structures, all the IGR structures. Let's take an example of Mangaung. That the IGR structure of Mangaung, whenever there's a grievance that is cross-cutting, that has to be dealt with by different departments and different spheres of government. Such a forum must be called to deal with a grievance, so that, because the importance is to ensure that you deal with a grievance, not to give a response. I think it's a context that the petitioner was raising. That's why he tried to make a distinction between red tape and I don't remember how he phrased the other. So that you then say, out of this, how should COGTA moving forward deal with grievances and concerns, so that it has a multidisciplinary approach in dealing with it. I think earlier on, we took such a resolution with regard to DESTEA, to say the meeting that is going to be called by the MEC with the petitioners must include every stakeholder, so that out of that meeting, the critical concerns that have been raised have a way forward, because all those that are necessary to the issue would have been part of the meeting. But if you have an approach where you have to move from one office to another, you'll then have 2 years not having resolved an issue, because there's never been a platform where you bring everyone under one roof to deal with a specific issue. So it's an issue that I believe it's a responsibility of this department, from moving from being a local government department to cooperative governance department, was to ensure that the issue of cooperative governance becomes an approach of government, and that responsibility was accorded to this department to do that and deal with that. And I think this is the context with which I understood the petitioner to be saying, we have a concern. Whenever we have an issue to be raised, we now have to move from one office to another. And after a certain period, this matter has not been resolved, because everyone is absolving himself from the issue. But if we then have an approach where we have a cooperative governance approach to a problem, it then says your attitude is to resolve the problem, but it's not to pass the buck. I think that's what I wanted to raise, Chairperson, in what I understood to be raised. Thanks.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Khobane. The approach is welcomed. Can we go to COGTA, please?
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members. I think having been here, we have had some of the cross-cutting issues that becomes our responsibility. But in terms of the petition, the paragraph that we had prepared a response to was in relation to paragraph 14. And that paragraph 14 actually coupled us together with the Department of Economic Development. And based on what the MEC has said, inclusive of what Honorable Khwabane proposed that there is a meeting, there are only 3 items that we thought that might still be outstanding from the response that was made by the MEC. Now, with your permission, I think we'll deal with that because I am with the senior manager responsible for IDP and LED. But we thought that the 3 issues that would not have been touched would be around permits, because in their 14 where they say COGTA and economic development, there's the issue of permits, and then there's the issue of policies, and then there's the issue of funding. We thought that those are the only things that might not have been touched. The rest they will be dealt with in the meeting that the MEC would be calling. But also maybe to take this opportunity to indeed say to the petitioners, in COGTA, in line with our mandate, we do have a unit that is called SMEC. I think Honorable Khwabane would be fair with it. But this is a unit that deals with support, monitoring, advice, and evaluation of municipalities across the province. So whenever there are complaints against a municipality, they get to be sent to COGTA. We are then able to deal and engage with those municipalities directly, but also through other IGR structures that we have. On the issue that had been raised with regard to vandalism, even if Honorable Chair, I hear what Honorable Khwabane was saying, the truth and the reality of the matter is that in 2015, Parliament passed a legislation which is called the General Amendment Act of 2015. And that act was specifically intended to deal with vandalism of infrastructure. The unfortunate part is that we are yet to see any South African being convicted of violation of the General Amendment Act of 2015, because that act actually amended the Criminal Procedure Act in terms of conditions of bail to make conditions difficult for people who are vandalizing infrastructure. It raised issues of penalties and fines for people who are convicted. But ordinarily when you go to a police station and you say you are from a municipality, there are people who have vandalized infrastructure, the police hardly have an understanding of the General Amendment Act of 2015. And I'm talking from personal experience when I was an MM. They would not even understand it. So there is a need to engage with the police, the law enforcement cluster, maybe through the oversight secretariat that was here to get support on that. I thought I should just raise that, Chair. Other than that, I think with your permission, we can deal with those 3 issues, Chair.
Yes, please, let's deal with the 3 that we are proposing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson, and all protocol observed. I will not dwell into the detail. I will just go to the specific information. I think all of us know that in November 2024, there was this issue of the spaza shops and people were killed, and according to that, illicit and non-compliant food represented at the shops. So since then, all municipalities was instructed to send out notices and to make sure that all the spaza shops are licensed according to the Business Act license or the Act or the municipality's own informal trade license. So for the end of March, the information that we received from Mangaung is that they received 1,377 applications. That includes spaza shops and informal businesses, of which 100 of them was foreigners. I wish Mangaung was here to elaborate on that. Then they indicated that at the end of March, they issued 280 business licenses. That's now for spaza shop and informal traders. And according to the municipality database, they said they issued 0 businesses for foreigners. So actually then all foreign shops currently is illegal in Mangaung. Then the next one is the promulgation of the Township Economies Bylaw. Like I indicated, there is a Business Act in place according to which you can issue business licenses. But in November, also 2024, National COGTA developed the Standard Draft Township Economies Bylaw. And the purpose of this was to support municipalities to promote commercial and industrial economic activities specific in townships, and to demarcate business areas for economic development. But this was also done according to the SPLUMA, the Spatial Planning and Land Use Management Act, to make sure that the areas are designated. And then municipalities was requested or instructed to also go through the process of public participation and customize that standard draft bylaw on township economies for their own area and for their own needs. Some of the municipalities even allocated percentages for foreigners and for South Africans. Unfortunately, Mangaung didn't do a final adoption of their township economy bylaw. They must still go for public participation. And this is a process that you must follow according to the Municipal Systems Act. You can't just go to council once and get it adopted. It must go for public participation, and only then it can be adopted. And then COGTA, even through our HOD, offered to promulgate these bylaws for municipalities, so that we bear the cost that the municipalities don't have to do that. But from Mangaung, they indicate that they're still busy with public participation. But even though this township economy bylaw is not promulgated for Mangaung, they can still issue business license according to the Business Act. So it doesn't stop them for issuing licenses. Then MEC for Economic Development also touched on this one, but I just want to give figures on the Plaza shop funding. And I want to make it clear that this one is administered by the Department of Small Business Development. So this is figures that we received from them on the latest status. This fund was launched in April 2025. It's specifically for South Africans, and it's to assist the Plaza shops with food safety and to improve their competitiveness and to make sure that they have the proper hygiene and all of that in their shops. So the fund is 40,000. You can get 40,000 for stock, to buy goods, 50,000 for assets and infrastructure. That will include things like the building, the infrastructure, fridges and those kind of things. And then 10,000 will go for its non-financial support. It's like to assist with their bookkeeping and business management. So I don't think I have to do for the Free State one, but let us go to Mangaung. Mangaung submitted 29, no, sorry, let me just go back. In the Free State, 104 applications were processed for receiving this fund. Mangaung was the highest one in the Free State. They verified 45 applications that could go for this, that can receive the fund. 29 of those received business licenses. So that's the status. And then in the Free State, we were allocated up to date 2.8 million, that's the whole Free State, from this Plaza shop fund. Mangaung received 1.2 million. But now if I say Mangaung, it's not the municipality, it's the shops in Mangaung. So it was 30 shops, Plaza shops, that was approved by the National Department of Small Business Development, that they applied to all the conditions, and in total it was allocated 1.2. Like I said, the Free State is about 2.8 million. So that is the information that we can give. And I just want to say, I think HOD also mentioned it, we monitor this whole process. So it will be very good, like the meeting that we presented, that Mangaung be there to explain what is the status and why are they not issuing licenses, and especially on why they not issue licenses to foreign shops. Because like I indicated, from their report, they said 0 foreign shops received a business license. But we can also perhaps look at inviting Department of Small Business Development to indicate specifically, like the people requested. I don't know if they will provide the names of the people, because MEC also indicated the challenge with that, but at least they can give us a breakdown of in which towns that they allocate the spaza shop fund. Thank you.
Engagement, honorable members, if we are done. Dr. Makaran.
Yeah, no, Chair, I just wanted to explain the context within which he's saying, you see, Mangaung says to us, there's 0 applications for foreign-owned shops that they've approved. What that practically means is therefore that any shop operating within the metro under foreigners, it's illegal, which therefore means they must close it. So I thought I should just highlight that their own records tells us that they've not processed any shops owned by foreigners. Thank you.
Which correctly put is illegal. Yes, it's illegal. No, I hope we are capturing that correctly, the Secretariat, that Mangaung must explain that to ourselves. Because even a foreigner is allowed to invest in town under certain conditions. So to say you are not processing that at all is not correct. No, thanks very much. Honorable Mackay.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to double check something now. So is this all previous foreign-owned shops as well, or is it just new applications? Because, I mean, there's a vast amount of, and a variety of foreign-owned shops, from clothing shops to shoe shops to spaza shops, or is this only for spaza shops that they haven't done licenses? Because, I mean, that means that 3/4 of downtown, well, that means is operating illegally, which doesn't make any sense, because many of those shops have been running for years. I mean, when I say years, I mean 20 years they've been running. So I'm not quite sure if you can just clarify if it's new licenses, if it's just spaza shop licenses, or is it business licenses? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Response will come. Honorable Jauregui.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with this one of spaza shops. I think MEC explained that what is the reason for these many spaza shops of foreigners in our community. Our own community are the one who give those people their licenses, and then they pay them. So we must make an investigation on that. The other one, Chair, is on Spluma. I just want to check with COGTA on Spluma. There's any awareness to our public about this Spluma, because I know the processes are very long, and I think our people are not aware about this. The municipality Mangaung, we already heard that they don't do public participation on this thing. So what is COGTA doing on that? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Skabela.
Thank you, Chair. I just need clarity on the national township economy bylaws that have been issued at national. So I understand that the municipalities have a duty and a responsibility to tailor-made them according to their conditions. I want to check if do this national bylaw, township economic bylaws, do they include the radius? Because you might find that in one ward, you have 10 shops. You even ask yourself, how do they survive? And you look at the population of the people who are working, people who are receiving grants, and you find that it's impossible for all these shops to actually be making business in one ward when they are congested like that. I just want to check if there is perhaps a radius that is involved, to say that maybe in one ward you are supposed to have this number of spaza shop, or there's a radius that is involved, say that maybe another, if you have a spaza shop in 1 meter, then within a radius of 100 meters, you're not supposed to have another spaza shop. I just want clarity on that.
Thanks very much, Honorable Skabela. Oshodi, can you get responses, please?
No, thanks, Chair. Just maybe to indicate that what we are talking about here is spaza shops and informal businesses. Your Vaal, foreign-owned entities that comes with that's not small business, you know. So we're specifically talking about small businesses, your spaza shops, and by the way, municipalities have bylaws, or are supposed to have bylaws that regulates these small businesses. Honorable members, we have been taking municipalities, on a hand-holding exercise to firstly do. National government came up with what one would call a mastermind bylaws that were meant to deal with these spaza shops. We had a workshop with all municipalities. We presented to them the framework legislation of those bylaws. We then said to them, you will go and table bylaws on this particular day, do your public participation. We even offered to say, once we have done the public participation, which will assist you through the IGR component of Ndate Masukel, we will even pay the money for gazetting or promulgation of your bylaws, Now, there might be other systemic failures within municipalities. For instance, they would need to have people who will enforce those bylaws, be able to appoint peace officers and so forth. But we're saying to them, you don't even have to have extra additional people. It should just be a reallocation of responsibilities. We've got traffic officers all over your municipalities who you can easily reallocate that function, and that could be done. But that's what I wanted to clarify between spaza shops and these informal businesses. Now, one of the key things that we think also impacts on the slow intake of applications. When this application you are making for the funding, it means your business must also comply with your bylaws, with the SPLUMA. So people are consciously not applying because they would not meet the requirements, including those who know that as foreigners, they might not be here legally. And these are things that municipalities, particularly the metro, must be made to take responsibility for. Now, we assist municipalities with SPLUMA. What happens is that we deploy our own town planners and professionals within municipalities in ensuring that their planning tribunals are functional. The reality of the matter is that in some instances, some municipality whose name I will not mention, because the composition of your town planning tribunal, it's actually legislated in terms of SPLUMA. So some of them in the main would be your external town planners and so forth. The tribunal in that municipality was dysfunctional simply because they were not being paid their sitting allowances. Well, I can't about that meeting, they must be paid that. We had a situation where an application of an investment of 1.8 billion was held in abeyance because the members of the SPLUMA, of the tribunal were not sitting. And then I asked the municipality, and these guys were saying, no, we're not being paid our sitting allowance. It was 92,000. We had to offer as COGTA to say, okay, we'll pay the sitting allowance just so that these people can process this application. So I'm saying it's not as if there are no tribunals in municipalities, but the functionality is also impacted upon by, I'm sorry to say so, lack of leadership at the management level within those municipalities to ensure that they operate. But we provide town planners, we provide assistance, and we are not doing it alone. We are doing it with the National Department of Land Reform and Rural Development. They've got a unit called SPY, as in Spatial Planning Unit, where we provide this support to municipalities. But to an extent that there are still challenges within public participation, we will endeavor to upscale it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Honourable Sikwebelo, the one on the radius, that's why I also said, National said specifically to municipalities they must customize it to their needs. The standard bylaw is having a paragraph on designated business areas and sites. So they just indicate there that the municipality must make provision for that according to the SPLUMA, and it must be in the spatial development framework as well as the land use management scheme. So they don't say specifically, but municipalities are supposed to customize it according to their needs in the municipality. Yeah, I think I covered, or HOD covered everything. We must just remember that, yes, there are businesses or small businesses that's having licenses perhaps already have licenses. But remember, those licenses are most of the time only valid for a year. And we started this process in 2024. So they should have came back to get a license again. And the main focus is on SMMEs and informal that provide food, because that was the problem that came up. Kids were getting the wrong, and also coupled with this is what the gentleman from Mangaung said. We are trying to encourage municipalities to look at their land, their waste management removal, because some of the kids died from rat poison. So because the townships, some of them are dirty and waste are lying around, they put out rat poison, and then the kids get that in. So it's not only linked, and I think Honorable Kubani said it, it's not only one department that work on this. We must look at all the aspects around the spaza shop issues. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, let me take this opportunity to thank everybody who made a presentation here. You know, the mood in the room now is very sober, if I may use the word, because it sums up the challenges that we are facing, particularly at municipal level where services are not provided to the standard that we are expecting them to. The fact that municipalities are failing to assist people to run small businesses by failing to give them licenses to do that in accordance with the law, that in itself tells you that we've got a long way to go. You know, after listening to what we said, HOD, it says to ourselves to say, how can we assist? You know, we must find a way of assisting this municipality. We must find a way of helping people to do business. That they must get licenses, they must make some sort of an activity that will, at the end of the day, put bread on the table. But to have those of us elected to do this job, not doing it and neglecting it, whilst existence is being given here, it's totally unacceptable. But we're talking to empty seats now. But I think it's important that at some point, these resolutions and proposals will find their way into our report, and that report will have some sort of assistance to give to our people. Honorable members, I want to say thank you very much up to here, and I also want to allow our teams to go in peace, and thank you for your patience, really, and participation. You also requested to bypass the kitchen. Unfortunately for ourselves, we still have 2 items to deal with. Honorable members will remain. Petitioners Ralebo are talking Makarat. By Tibarona, Babu petitioners. Ralebo, please kill a khatal. Keep on doing this. At the end of the day, we'll get. Yes, we've got that. Please, let's get that.
They should not.
Ralebo.
Not to disrupt in the township.
Ralebo,
they should not be tried to come here.
Look outside. Thank you very much. Good luck. Honorable members, in front of us is item number 9.1. I said so, Honorable Khobat. I said, unfortunately, we are remaining for a minute or two. In front of us, honorable members, is a draft report of Mrs. Moduka versus the Department of Health. We are processing this report.